Park in a remote area near Imlay Canyon. Around 5 acres it burned so far.
The National Park Service will continue to monitor the fire and will take action as necessary to protect life, property, and park values.
Jonathan Schaefer with the National Park Service says they think this fire was started by lightning, but crews are reminding people to only start fires in designated fire rings and never leave hot coals. The wall of a major dam in part of southern Ukraine that Moscow controls collapsed Tuesday after a reported explosion. Water is now gushing downriver and prompting both sides in the war to order people to evacuate. Ukraine accused Russian forces of blowing up the dam and hydroelectric power station, while Russian officials blamed Ukrainian military strikes. The prime suspect in the unsolved 2005 disappearance of American teenager Natalie Holloway will be heading to the U.S.
Joran Vandersloot, serving a 28-year sentence in Peru for the murder of a woman there, was moved to a prison in Lima in anticipation of his extradition to the U.S., which it was thought he would not challenge. But Vandersloot's attorney telling ABC News that his client is now refusing to sign documents that would allow him to be extradited and plans to appeal. Unclear how long this will slow down the process of Vandersloot's transfer to the U.S., where he faces extortion charges after telling Natalie Holloway's mother's lawyer in 2010 that he'd reveal the location of her daughter's body for $250,000. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Several iconic TV sets hit the auction block in Dallas.
Heritage Auction says the bar featured on the TV show Cheers sold for $675,000, while the set from The Tonight Show featuring Johnny Carson went for $275,000. They were part of a collection amassed by a former comedy writer who gave up his dream of creating a museum to house them. The Batman and Robin costumes worn by Adam West and Burt Ward in the 1960s TV series Batman sold for $615,000. The living and dining rooms and stairwell from All in the Family sold for $125,000. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
I guess it was a former writer that really wanted to open a museum, but decided that fans should have the pieces instead. And he was, of course, not looking forward to, I'm sure, trying to maintain the cost of running a museum himself. Coming up in just a minute, we'll get another look at how the roads are doing to start the morning, but it looks like so far so good. We'll check traffic and weather together next.
Start your day with all news in the morning. Then hear Dave and DeJanovic talk about the biggest stories from 9 to noon.
Utah is the fastest growing state out there.
You need to stop blaming Californians.
Breaking news, important talk, all morning on KSL News Radio. Dave and Debbie.
One of my favorite things about Debbie is when we're in the middle of an interview, a light flips on and there's something that she picked out. I call it her spidey sense. And then she just tenaciously goes after that line of questioning. If someone tries to spin it, she's respectful, but she's firm. And she won't let you go with just that easy, trite answer. She's going to get down to the bottom of it, and I love it.
I've always been impressed with Dave's ability to go back in his memory bank and drag out factual details from previous interviews, weeks, months, even years ago. It is phenomenal to watch that happen because it adds so much context to our coverage in the moment. Dave's got it all right up here in his brain, and that's impressive.
This is a thing that Debbie does not do well. On-the-fly math.
I agree. So one thing I agree with him on.
Listen for Dave and DeJanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
One of the stories we're going to follow this morning for the second day in a row, it could be a road rage accident with shots fired, and this time involving a motorcycle. And there's some part of the story saying that it was the passenger on the back of this black Harley Davidson that may have been the shooter. We're going to follow that story wherever it leads this morning with Adam Small's help. He's checking into it this hour. KSL News Time 5:09. Time for a look at traffic and weather together, which we do every 10 minutes on the nines. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Tim. A nice drive starting off this morning. No weather issues. You've got the full speed limit on I-15 and I-215 as you loop around the valley. And out of Tooele, I-80 all clear, and just a minimum 10-minute travel time between Lake Point and Bangor and the airport. Heather?
No problems up north through Weber and Davis counties. We've got good speeds on I-15, US 89, Legacy Parkway. No congestion on the city streets yet, even getting into Hill Air Force Base. Eric?
Well, it looks like we do have some slow-moving vehicles eastbound, westbound on I-80. Getting up over the top of Parley, some would probably just stay to the left. You'll be okay. These more than likely are slow-moving semis over to the right. I-15 Utah County, northbound, southbound is looking good. You're looking at a 24-minute drive from Spanish Fort to Point of the Mountain. If you're on Redwood Road, that also is in good shape heading north. Zero Res has partnered with Unload, Utah's premier valet laundry and dry cleaning service. Schedule your carpet or air duct cleaning with Zero Res, and they'll add in a free service from Unload. Call for details, 801-288-9376. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
I'm dialing up another warm one today, 87 degrees with a chance for storms popping in the mountains, then potentially drifting into the valleys. 60 overnight, partly cloudy, 83 tomorrow with another round of storms possible. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It is warmer out there than it has been in a while, and that translates to a warmer afternoon, too. But it's already 64 degrees in Salt Lake City with a 70% chance of showers coming later in the afternoon. We'll talk with Matt Johnson. He'll be in studio with us in the hours ahead. One of the stories we're going to go in depth on this morning, we're checking in with America in the Morning's John Stolnis. Republican leaders are moving forward, evidently, with contempt of Congress charges against the director of the FBI. We'll find out the details of that story coming up next at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. Thanks again for starting your morning with me. Amanda Dixon off on vacation this week on KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm originally from New Jersey. It's a little different than Utah. Oh, okay. It's a lot different than Utah. You understand what I'm saying here? I first came here on a date. I had an employee who lived in Utah, and I said, that girl, I think I'm going to meet her, and it's tax deductible. I never left. I've never left. I've been here for going on 15 years now, and we've been married for 12. I've been around the block in the radio business. I've worked for a lot of major companies. There are none with the commitment to the community that I found at KSL. There are none with the camaraderie of the staff that I found at KSL. And there are none with the commitment of management and the company to the safety, the health, the welfare of their staff. And I just love this place.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 5:14. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
we are hearing from the family of two innocent victims of a deadly crash involving what UHP troopers are calling road rage. I'm KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson.
Second, we're also learning more about a possible road rage interaction in Layton, where police say a passenger on a motorcycle took shots at a car. Third, it's traffic and weather together.
So far, so good. If you're traveling on I-15 into and out of Salt Lake City, a little bit heavy on I-80 as you go up over Parley Summit, but that's about it so far. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Scatter storms possible again today with a high of 87. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in Salt Lake City, it's a bit warmer than it has been this time of the morning, 64 degrees, with our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A dam break in southern Ukraine, and now hundreds of thousands of people are being evacuated. It happened a few hours ago at the foreign desk. Here's ABC's Tom Rivers.
Ukraine is accusing Russian forces of blowing up a dam and hydroelectric power plant in a part of southern Ukraine that Moscow controls. Russian officials have quickly countered that Ukrainians were responsible. In either case, the rupture sent water gushing from the breached facility on the Dnipro River. One thing both sides agree on, they've ordered hundreds of thousands of residents downriver to evacuate. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the foreign desk.
In Normandy, France, they are marking 79 years since the D-Day landing. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is there talking about Ukraine in his remarks.
On a recent trip to a U.S. training post in a free Germany, I met brave young men and women from Ukraine who were learning how to fight for their lives and for their country. And today, I am more determined than ever to stand by them for as long as it takes.
NTSB investigators working deep in the Virginia wilderness following the crash of that plane whose pilot was unresponsive. F-16s were scrambled because the plane flew over restricted airspace. California Attorney General Rob Bonta ready to possibly file charges against Governor Ron DeSantis following the transport of migrants from Texas to California.
Kidnapping is something that we're looking at, and the element of duress is important in that instance. We are also looking at other potential legal violations, criminal and civil.
He says the migrants were told they would have jobs and housing waiting for them. Instead, they were dropped off outside a church with nothing. The transport, it's believed, done at the direction of Florida's government. 2 months after he was hospitalized with an acute case of bronchitis, Pope Francis went to the hospital today for tests. He has since returned to the Vatican. You're listening to ABC News.
All right, time for the KSL In-Depth. Republican leaders in Washington want to move forward with contempt of Congress charges against the director of the FBI. We get the update this morning from America in the Morning's John Stolness.
After viewing a document involved in allegations of wrongdoing against President Biden when he was vice president, Republican House Oversight Chairman James Comer and Democratic Ranking Member Jamie Raskin had almost completely conflicting views of what they saw. Chairman Comer after the meeting with FBI officials.
The unclassified FBI-generated record has not been disproven and is currently being used in an ongoing investigation.
Raskin, however, says that's not so.
I must have missed that because I've not heard that this is part of any ongoing investigation.
In fact, Raskin says he doesn't believe the Justice Department is investigating allegations that then Vice President Biden accepted a bribe at all. Meanwhile, Republicans on the committee believe the document shows a report from a trusted human FBI source that alleges Biden may have been involved in a pay-for-play scheme during his time in the Obama administration.
The confidential human source who provided information about then Vice President Biden being involved in a criminal bribery scheme is a trusted, highly credible informant who has been used by the FBI for over 10 years and has been paid over 6 figures.
While Raskin says that source was simply passing information along that was told to him by someone else.
That confidential human source said that he had no way of knowing about the underlying veracity of the things that he was being told.
Chairman Comer wanted FBI Director Christopher Wray to provide the unclassified document to the entire committee rather than require the leaders to view it in private. Comer said contempt of Congress charges will go forward.
At the briefing, the FBI again refused to hand over the unclassified record to the custody of the House Oversight Committee, and we will now initiate contempt of Congress hearings this Thursday.
Raskin notes lawyers for Donald Trump met with the DOJ in the classified documents case yesterday, and that Republicans may simply be trying to distract attention from that.
Trying to get contempt charges brought for the first time in American history against the director of the FBI. So I leave it to your judgment whether that's political or not.
John Stolness, Washington.
KSL News Time, 5:19. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Again, brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Andy?
Tim, right now, traffic crash-free through the Salt Lake Valley. I-15 looks good. 20-minute travel time from Draper to downtown. It's looking good on the 21st South Freeway for now. Mountain View, so far, no extra delay at any of the intersections through West Valley. Heather?
We also have good speeds through Weber and Davis County, 30 minutes or less if you're leaving Ogden right now, hopping on I-15, heading into downtown Salt Lake. If you need to get to the airport, transitioning onto Legacy Parkway in the West Side Belt are good options too. Eric?
In Utah County, I-15 cruising right along from Provo and Orem all the way up to Thanksgiving Point. We don't seem to have any problems on the freeway at the moment. And if you're going out through Provo Canyon on 189, no trouble there. Along the Wasatch Back, though, northbound vehicles from Heber City up to the Park City area are seeing some slowing going up the incline to Jordanelle Reservoir, and then at the north part of the reservoir, too, as you approach the turnoff to go into Park City. Get the Intermountain West Contractor's Advantage, quality, speed, value for your money, and use code RADIO1000 to get $1,000 off a roof replacement now. Visit iwcroofing.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts out warm. 87 degrees today with a chance for scattered storms. We bubble up showers and storms again for your Wednesday, high of 83. Partly cloudy Thursday, 82. We keep it dry with a chance for storms in the mountains, though, Friday, 82. 81 mostly cloudy on Saturday. Chance for storms return on Sunday and Monday. Highs in the low 80s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
We had a little thunder rolling through yesterday afternoon, but very little precipitation at our house. The best chance of precipitation for the next 7 days happens this afternoon at 70%, and we're off to a warm start, 64 now in Salt Lake City. As you heard just a few minutes ago from ABC, this is the 79th anniversary of D-Day, the D-Day invasion. Something you could learn about and probably did in school, but my wife and I had the opportunity to actually make a trip to Normandy, which I would hope for everybody you'd at least one time in your lifetime get the chance to go, and it changes the way you look at this day. And I'll tell you, the folks in France don't take it for granted. We sort of gloss over it here in the U.S., but 160,000 Allied troops landed in Normandy, and we stood there on the cliffs of Utah Beach. And, of course, the attack happened early in the morning, the assault, and just the number of lives lost is hard to imagine. And when you're standing right there and the task that was before them, 4,414 Allied troops were killed on D-Day itself, including 2,500 Americans. 5,000 others were wounded, and we salute those that have family members and somebody in their sphere that had anything to do with the D-Day invasion. Just an amazing day in history. Today is that day, the 79th anniversary. The 7-day forecast this morning is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. I had a chance to take a quick look at how the markets ended the day yesterday, and we lost some of the ground gained the day before. The Dow was off almost 200. The S&P was down 9. The NASDAQ off 11 points. We'll get a look at the futures in just a minute and see what kind of a day we have with the rest of your Money News headlines next.
Two friends taking pictures of the rising full moon on a summer night.
Two teenage kids doing what teenage kids do.
When a stranger with a gun and a death wish changed everything.
It was violent, it was senseless, and I will never understand it, I will never accept it.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and unfortunately, we're all too familiar with stories about how violence shatters lives. But what we rarely see is how they are rebuilt. In a new podcast, The Letter, we relive tragedy, but only so we can hear the rest of the story. The struggle to reclaim lives, the realities of grief, and the possibilities of forgiveness.
I believe in miracles. Sometimes I thought, there are no miracles. Yeah, there are, and this is a big one.
Follow The Letter at theletterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath. Stomach issues? Lower back pain? How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Watching Utah's Money this morning is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Spotify is laying off more workers. 200 people are about to lose their jobs. The company already laid off 6% of their employees at the start of the year. Spotify says they're working to partner with podcasters around the world and have been needing restructure to their own podcast department to accommodate that shift. A $107 billion investment by Japan to develop hydrogen energy. The country hopes to increase the supply, reducing carbon emissions. Leaders are saying they want to turn the country into a hydrogen society, creating a stable energy supply and promoting economic growth. And thousands of Microsoft Outlook users struggled to get into their emails yesterday morning. Outage Tracker Down Detector reports that 15,000 users reported issues with Microsoft 365 yesterday. So if you struggled with yours for any period of time, you weren't alone. And Microsoft tweeted they were working on the issue. Things started to get better, it looked like, by early afternoon, but there were still some outages overnight reported. And I know America in the Morning was covering it first thing this morning. All right, we told you where we ended the day yesterday. Where do we start this morning? The futures are down about 42 points on the Dow. That's 0.1%. The S&P is down less than 4, and the NASDAQ is off 10. Where's gold this morning? It's been up the last couple of days, and it's up another $5.50 an ounce at $1,979.70 an ounce. Last time we checked traffic, we were off to a pretty good start, and it looks like it's still a good drive on I-15 in the valley and I-80 in the mountains, at least early on. We'll check your traffic and weather together next.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, you're starting to speak another language.
Babbel's lessons are voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no better way than
Babbel.
Text radio to 64,000 to try Babbel for free. Text radio to 64,000.
I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. Don't miss Cold's new Season 3, where I look into the unsolved disappearance of Cherie Warren, a woman last seen leaving her job at a Salt Lake City office in 1985. Police cast suspicion on Cherie's estranged husband and boyfriend, but never made any arrests or recovered Cherie's remains. Find Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Don't be worried, be ready. KSL News Radio is partnering with Be Ready Utah to provide the plans your family needs for an emergency, the tools and supplies to keep on hand, and the knowledge on how to keep a cool head. It's Be Ready Utah. Listen for Be Ready tips and tools each Tuesday with Dave Dujanovic. Plus, find the latest preparation info at beready.utah.gov. That's beready.utah.gov. Be Ready Utah with KSL News Radio.
Right on cue for summer.
OPEC plans to cut oil production.
Gas prices are headed up.
It could drive up prices for other goods.
Whether you're planning a staycation or a day trip, start your summer here. Get updates on traffic out of town, gas prices, and everything you need to know. Listen each day this summer, mornings and afternoons, to KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 529. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines is brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Andy, sounds like we're off to a good start.
We are, Tim. No crashes yet, and I'm looking at a pretty good commute along I-15. Light traffic patterns, so no extra slowdowns to add to your travel time. Less than 20 minutes between Point of the Mountain and 6 South downtown. Looks good on I-80 out of Tooele. SR-201 maybe a little bit heavy around 8400 West in Magna, but only for people who are just there right at this moment. Heather?
No delays getting into Hill Air Force Base this morning. All 3 gates are pretty clear. So you should be good this morning so far if you need to head that direction. I-15 southbound, you're still under 30 minutes between Ogden and downtown Salt Lake. And US 89 and I-84 moving at speed. Eric?
Along the 215 eastbound, no problems heading north from Cottonwood Heights through Holiday, Mill Creek up to the mouth of Parley's Canyon. Foothill Drive looking good going up to the university area. It's early, though. We'll see that get congested later. I-80 through Parley's Canyon also in good shape if you're going out to Park City this morning. Premium checking from America First is more than a regular account. In fact, it's so loaded with benefits and features, it was voted best perks by Money.com. Apply for it today at AmericaFirst.com. I'm Eric Butler on the KSL Traffic Center.
87 makes us the warmest day of the week, the next 7, and a 70% chance of showers also makes it the most likely you're going to get wet. That's the kind of day we have in store for you this morning, and the clouds are starting to gather early. It's 61 degrees in Salt Lake City.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 5:30, and our top story this hour. There's a strong likelihood that Utah lawmakers will call a special session in light of Representative Chris Stewart's plans to step down from Congress. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with the details. Adam?
Tim, Utah Republican Chair Robert Axson says he believes that there will be a special session.
The state legislature should, and I have had conversations with them, and leadership has indicated that they will be going into special session to make some adjustments to that law.
Axson tells KSL at night, as it stands right now, Representative Chris Stewart needs to submit an irrevocable letter of intent to resign for the governor to call a special election. But reports indicate he doesn't plan to do so until September, meaning this could overlap with a potential re-election campaign for his replacement, since his seat would be up for re-election next year. Axson says they want to condense the timeline as much as they can to benefit Utah voters. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Firefighters saved 2 kayakers on the Great Salt Lake after their kayaks started deflating. And the lake could get a lot busier as boats are put back into the marina today. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston joins me live with more. Peter?
Tim, the North Tooele Fire District got a call just before 9 p.m. last night about the 2 kayakers, and a state's park officer arrived just before sundown. The callers were a mile offshore when their kayaks started to lose air, and to make matters worse, they carried no life vests. The fire district says this is a prime example of knowing your vehicle's limitations and preparing accordingly. And the rescue is kicking off another season of Great Salt Lake boating. Devin Chavez with the Utah State Parks says that until 5 p.m. today, boats will be back in the marina on the Great Salt Lake. We'll have more info on that coming later this morning. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
Police have released videos and photos taken from the phone of an Enoch City man who killed 7 family members before taking his own life in January. Deseret News reporter Carl Dunphy watched the videos.
I think if a domestic violence expert were to look at these videos, they tell you there's just like this textbook manipulation, emotional manipulation happening here, where the couple goes to talk basically about specifics of child support.
Dunphy says it's easy to see Michael Haight playing on the sympathy of his family in the videos. Our top national story this hour, a political battle heating up over planes of migrants arriving in California from Texas.
California is a state that deals with undocumented immigrants every day. State leaders are claiming this isn't about handling several dozen migrants. This is about California not being given a heads up to be ready for their arrival, and the migrants were allegedly told when they came to California there would be jobs on the other end. That was a lie, says California Attorney General Rob Bonta, who says possible charges against those who are orchestrating the flights could be
false imprisonment and kidnapping.
On Monday, Governor Gavin Newsom tweeted out indicating Governor Ron DeSantis could be charged with kidnapping. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Investigators are working in the woods in Virginia at the site of a Cessna Citation jet crash.
Jet took off from Tennessee at around 1:15 Sunday afternoon, headed to New York's Long Island. Less than 15 minutes after takeoff, the veteran pilot was no longer responding to air traffic controllers. The plane reaching Long Island, but then turning around, flying over New York and D.C. airspace. It would take 90 minutes before the military launched F-16s, one of them breaking the sound barrier, causing a sonic boom. Those fighter jets catching up to the plane, firing flares and issuing warnings by radio. The fighter pilots say they could see the pilot slumped over.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert reporting a Missouri inmate is scheduled to be executed today, despite pleas from community groups.
42-year-old Michael Tisius is scheduled to die by lethal injection for shooting and killing 2 Randolph County prison guards in 2000. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declining a request to stay the execution. Tisius's case garnered national attention, with several groups signing petitions asking the governor to grant him clemency. Tisius was 19 years old at the time of his conviction, and his attorneys have argued he had a troubled childhood and was homeless in his early teen years.
That's ABC's Lionel Moise reporting. First look traffic, we go back to the traffic center, and Andy.
Right now, watching traffic on I-15, we're still looking good, whether you're starting out in Ogden, and if you're heading south, you're going to do that in less than 30 minutes. A little bit busy, Southgate to Hill Air Force Base. No city street issues in Salt Lake or Utah County, though, so far. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is on trial starting today in New York, where he's accused of assaulting a woman he met in a bar a decade ago.
Cuba Gooding Jr.'s civil trial in Manhattan federal court is starting less than a year after he avoided prison by pleading guilty in a state case that accused him of groping several women. The woman who sued Gooding said she met the actor in a restaurant while having dinner with a friend in Greenwich Village. Gooding invited her for drinks at the Mercer Hotel and asked her to join him in his room while he changed clothes. Instead, the woman said Gooding got naked, blocked her from the door, and pushed her onto the bed, raping her twice. He has denied it and said the encounter was consensual. He faces a potential payout in the millions. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
A commemoration of the 79th anniversary of the D-Day invasion in Normandy, France is underway this morning. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is in attendance as French President Macron leads the ceremonies. Apple is celebrating a big product launch yesterday.
Apple unveiling the Vision Pro, a new virtual and augmented headset, calling it their most ambitious product yet. The company betting big that VR is more than just a fad. GMA's Robin Roberts sitting down exclusively with Apple CEO Tim Cook.
You can see, hear, and interact with digital content right in your physical space. And this is a huge idea.
I watched part of the presentation on it yesterday after we were talking with Mike Dubusky about this time yesterday morning about it. And rather than having hand controls, you just use your hands. You don't have any devices in your hands. And you can swipe screens and things. They showed people sitting at their desks with multiple monitors in front of them. It's pretty cool. That is ABC's Andrea Fujii reporting. I don't know if it's $3,500 cool, but it's pretty cool. Amazon's Alexa can play music, check the weather, and according to one person, may even save your life. Jenny Double of, is that Hutto, Texas? Used the emergency contact feature to call her daughter when she collapsed without her cell phone.
If it hadn't been for Alexa, and if it hadn't been for my daughter, I wouldn't be here today. And I just think it's an awesome feature that nobody knows about.
Double's daughter was able to quickly get paramedics to respond to the home, where they were able to revive her after they found her not breathing. Good movement along the Wasatch Front so far this morning on the highways and the city streets. We'll check your traffic and weather together in 2 minutes.
Boyd Matheson helps you to think about the news differently.
Social capital is what makes it all go around. Neighbor helping neighbor in need.
Join an elevated conversation. Inside Sources from 1 to 3. Then Jeff Kaplan and his Minute of News on the drive home on KSL News Radio.
June 15th is Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and the Utah Department of Health and Human Services is hosting a virtual event from 10 to noon. Text SENIOR to 57500 to register.
Incredible savings on all Bernina machines at Dave's Bernina in Provo and St. George.
Don't miss our summer sale.
It's time to get a new Bernina machine and see the difference.
Save big on select Bernina machines. $500 off the Bernina 5 Series and L8 Series Surgers. Take $700 off the 7 Series. $800 off the Bernina 8 models, and save $1,000 on Bernina long arm quilting machines.
Featuring 60 months, no interest on certain models.
But this financing offer is only good through June 12th.
The new Bernina 770QE Plus Cave machine is in stock and specially priced.
Come in and check out the special edition 475 Cave machine. It is discounted along with the Bernina 435.
Amazing bargains on previously owned machines while they last that come with warranties.
Starting at $399.
Hurry in to Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo. Follow us on Facebook.
Looks like the wheels are in motion for Utah lawmakers to gather for a special session to start the progress in changing or getting a special session to replace Chris Stewart in his congressional seat. We'll have more on that with our Adam Small this morning. KSL News Time 539, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines. Again, is brought to you this morning by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Any problems out there, Andy?
Haven't seen any yet in the Salt Lake Valley, Tim. Full speeds on I-15 and I-80 out of Tooele County. Got a little bit of heavy traffic in Tooele County, SR-36 going from Erta to Stansbury Park. And Mountain View starting to see some busy buildup of traffic around 5400 South in Mountain View, but not much other than that. Heather?
Traffic yet through Weber and Davis counties. Traffic is moving along pretty well if you're sticking to any of the major freeways. That includes I-84 through the mountains of Weber Canyon, also US 89 Legacy Parkway. I-15 has most of your traffic right now heading south towards Salt Lake, but not enough to slow you down. Eric.
We got some northbound slowing on US 40 and the Wasatch back between Heber and Park City, first going up the hill to Jordanelle Reservoir, and then further up the road, you got construction as you head up towards SR 248 if you're turning to go into Park City. And you have some similar kind of uphill slowing for westbounders on I-80 at Parley Summit this morning going through the mountains. It's the summer tour sales event at Murdoch Hyundai. Receive 0% for 3 years on a new Tucson or a Santa Fe. Murdoch Hyundai in Logan, Linden, Murray, or online at murdochhyundai.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We lean towards the toasty side today. 87 the forecast high with a chance for storms to pop up by afternoon. Overnight lows, low 60s, partly cloudy. Tomorrow we'll go to 83 with another round of scattered storms possible by afternoon. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it is 64 degrees in Salt Lake City. These videos earlier this morning, and ABC's reporting overnight of this dam rupture in Ukraine that now has all of this water flooding downstream and is causing the evacuation of many is pretty startling. And we're asking the question this morning, is this the beginning of the long-rumored counteroffensive on the part of Ukraine against Russian troops? We're going to check in with Karen Travers from the White House coming up in a minute. She'll tell us what she knows from behind the scenes. So stay with us at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. Thanks for riding along this morning with Utah's Morning News and your all-day companion for news.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Right now, I'm driving to work, but that's not where I'm going. I'm going to more important things. I'm going to visit Papa. I'm going to go out with friends and to an anniversary dinner. And I look out at the big trucks and buses and people walking and think, we're all going somewhere. And we need to work together to share the road and get there safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Paid for by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration.
Tim and Amanda. You know, we've been doing this, 30 years, Tim? We know that the news can be heavy. We know that it can be difficult sometimes to listen to or understand. But that doesn't mean that we're supposed to live in that down place every day. We learn the news, we're educated so we can take care of our families. But then, you know what? We go out and have a good day.
Well, I think both of us come from the standpoint, we have families, we have kids that are coming up different ages. Yours are younger than mine. Mine are grown adults. But we always try and look for the bright side, I think, because we all want to have that in our lives.
And it's there. There is a bright side.
There is a bright side out there. And so we look for those opportunities each day to hopefully send that message to you, even if it's not directly, in words, that at least in sentiment, things are going to be okay.
Do you know what I like to tell people? The news is the exception, not the rule. So if there's violence in the news, that's the exception. The rule is most of us are safe and happy and doing okay.
Amen.
Utah's Morning News between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Sure, humans can be a little weird at times, but take it from me, I'm a dog. And a person is about the best thing that can happen to a shelter pet. So if you want to learn how you can be that person, get down to your local pet shelter or visit theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Always remember, you can text the word news to the Cyprus Credit Union KSL text line at 57500 and get late-breaking information sent directly to your phone. KSL News Time now is 5:44. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
the Salt Lake City Police Department is increasing the number of patrols near a parking lot on Market Street after 4 shootings and a homicide happened there just this weekend. I'm KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston.
Second, there's a strong likelihood Utah lawmakers will call a special session in light of Representative Chris Stewart's plans to step down from Congress. Third, traffic and weather together.
Main corridor of I-15 looks great this morning. No slowdowns yet, although we're seeing some delays at the South Gate to Hill Air Force Base. Utah County is still quiet along Redwood Road and Pioneer Crossing. Areas that'll get busy later, but not bad now. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
On the warmer side today, 87, and a chance for storms. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, partly cloudy skies, 64 degrees with our top national stories.
A major dam hit in Ukraine. The Ukrainians say the Russians are responsible. The Russians are blaming the Ukrainians. Water has been gushing from the breached facility. Hundreds of thousands of people have been told to evacuate their homes. More Republicans jumping into the presidential race this week.
Mike Pence is taking on his former boss, filing paperwork to declare his 2024 campaign for president. Another former governor will soon join him in the race. New Jersey's Chris Christie, a former ABC News contributor, is set to make his own announcement today in New Hampshire. Both men joining a crowded field that includes Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
That's ABC's Lindsay Watts. California investigating whether Ron DeSantis was behind a flight that picked up asylum seekers on the Texas border and flew them to California's capital of Sacramento with the promise of housing and jobs that weren't there. In Normandy, France, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin among those marking 79 years since D-Day. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
All right, let's go in depth here. The U.S. says it has done what it can to help Ukraine ahead of their counteroffensive against Russia. Joining me live is ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers, and we just heard in that report, Karen, about that dam that has been breached. Both sides blaming each other, and I guess the big question is this the beginning of the counteroffensive we've been talking about?
Yeah, I mean, the White House probably won't say. No response yet from the White House, though, on what had happened overnight our time in Ukraine. But, you know, based on what we heard yesterday from the administration, they are just letting it be up to Ukraine to decide and to say when their operations have begun and to classify what their operations are. John Kirby, the National Security Council spokesman, was asked several times about whether he would say the counteroffensive has begun, how he would qualify it, and he just said this is up to the Ukrainians to speak to. And the big thing from the administration is the U.S. has done all it can to make sure Ukraine is ready for this point. He said the president is confident that over the last 6 to 8 months, the administration has provided the equipment, the training, the capabilities so that the Ukrainians can be successful and make them ready for whatever it is they want to do right now, whether it's weapon systems or training, but they're just not going to tell them what to do or get into the timeline of what the Ukrainians are doing.
So they're not going to tell the Ukrainians what to do, and evidently, and I saw you asking questions yesterday, they're not going to tell you either. He doesn't want to, as he put it, armchair quarterback this thing.
Yeah, very notable, you know, that they're, I think, being very careful about not giving advice from the podium, not giving directions from the podium, and also not weighing in with analysis from the administration here in Washington. President Zelensky of Ukraine had done an interview with the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. It was published over the weekend, where he said that Ukraine needs more Patriot missile batteries and air defense, and said, you know, that basically that Russia has superior capabilities in the air. Kirby was asked about that and said that the U.S. has been prioritizing air defense now for many months, and that the latest package to Ukraine included interceptor missiles. I asked him about something Zelensky said in that interview, that Russia's dominance of the skies means that there will be a large number of Ukrainian casualties in this counteroffensive. And I asked if he agreed, or if the White House agreed with that assessment. And he kind of paused, and he was very careful and said, you know, we are not going to speculate about casualties. We're not going to get into their estimates, but that the focus for the administration continues to be getting the Ukrainians ready to do what they think they need to do right now to push back the Russians.
And it does sound like the Ukrainians are getting some of the ground back in Bakhmut, does it not?
Yeah, this was interesting. Based on what we are hearing and seeing, our reporters on the ground there, we wanted to see if they would weigh in on this from the White House. So I asked him if they could give an assessment of how significant the recent and ongoing gains that we seem to see are by Ukraine around Bakhmut. And this is where he said the armchair thing, that he wouldn't do this day by day, but said that there had been continued vicious fighting in that area, and that the Ukrainians have been fighting bravely for even as they had moved back forces. They had stayed in the vicinity of Bakhmut, and he said he'll let the Ukrainians speak to why that's been so important, but they have been conducting operations there.
All right. We appreciate your coverage. Keep holding their feet to the fire, Karen. Thank you.
Have a great day.
For your time this morning. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers. 5:49, time for us to get that look at traffic and weather together. Again, brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Here's Andy Farnsworth.
And we're looking good if you're traveling through Salt Lake County. I haven't seen any delays on I-15 or I-80 so far. However, Bangor is beginning to back up already around 3500 South in West Valley. It's pretty heavy from there all the way to the 201 freeway, but you'll wait a bit at the 3500 South intersection. Haven't seen any extra delay along Mountain View yet. Redwood Road just starting to fill in a bit in West Jordan near 7800 South. Heather?
The delays are now in place at the south gate of Hill Air Force Base. That came on pretty suddenly. So you've got about a block or so of backup on Hillfield Road heading north, trying to get into the base, as well as on SR 193, both eastbound and westbound, trying to get toward that gate. The other two gates are in fairly good shape. There might be a little bit of crowding, but not as congested as the south gate. I-15 still running at speed, though, from Ogden to Salt Lake. Eric.
In Utah County, I-15 at a normal pace, 22 minutes from Springville to Point of the Mountain. The major feeders over to the freeway also looking good. Zero Res has partnered with Unload, Utah's premier valet, laundry, and dry cleaning service. Schedule your carpet or air duct cleaning with Zero Res, and they'll add in a free service from Unload. Call for details, 801-288-9376. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, it could be a lot hotter this time of year. We'll go for 87, though, still on the warm side. Chance for storms by afternoon. Tomorrow, 83. Chance for thunderstorms to bubble up by afternoon and evening. We'll go partly cloudy on Thursday, 82. Low 80s prevail Friday and Saturday, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. And then thunderstorm chances increase Sunday and Monday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Don't miss that glowing sunrise we have out there right now. It's not going to last long, but it is a little bit warmer than it has been. 64 degrees this hour. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. We had yet another rescue yesterday. This time it was kayakers on the Great Salt Lake. And some of our counties are reporting that they've had 5 to 10 times more calls than they have normally this time of year for rescues. We know as these temperatures heat up, and today we're going to be close to the 90-degree mark here in the north, and certainly we'll top that down in southern Utah, that many are going to be looking to cool themselves off at our lakes and reservoirs. But doing it safely is going to be the key. Summer water safety is a topic that David Dujanovic will be talking about today and again on Thursday this week, so make sure you're listening in. Bringing you some great tips brought to you by the Utah Department of Natural Resources. Dave and Deb coming up this morning, 9 to noon. KSL News Time, 5:52.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Your dirty computer could burn your whole house down, maybe even your whole neighborhood. Scary. If you own a computer, you want to keep it clean from physical dirt, dander, boogers, pet hair, and all that gross stuff that builds up inside your fans and components. I've seen computers where people haven't cleaned them for like a decade. You know, these blocked fans can cause massive heat buildup, and it could actually cause an electrical fire. A dirty computer can also run really slow, so your performance is very degraded. Now, normally to clean a computer, many stores charge over $100 to do this kind of cleaning and disinfection. But at PC Laptops, we'll do it for you no matter where you bought your PC for absolutely free. So bring your PC into any PC Laptops right now, or just check us out at PCLaptops.com. We're going to clean this thing for you. PCLaptops.com. At PC Laptops, we really love you.
Hey guys, Alex and Scott for Alpine Home Medical. It is spring. It is time for us to start thinking about getting out and going out into the outdoors and enjoying our lives a little bit more. And Alpine Home Medical is there to help you on that journey. And even if it's tough for you, look, if you need to get some things for your personal health to be dialed in, this is the time to do it. And Alpine Home Medical are the ones to call to get it done.
Yeah, I've loved my experience going to Alpine Home Medical. They're friendly. They get things done. They work through your insurance, through your doctor, and they get you out being able to live life. I have a CPAP machine that I've had with them for years, and they're great to work with me and really create an experience where I'm not limited. You know, I can enjoy life, but I can also take care of my medical needs, and they can do that for you. If you have struggles, challenges, or whatever, they're going to find the right products to help you kind of climb your own mountain to health and wellness.
CPAP resupply program, the portable oxygen, comfortable lift chairs, bathroom safety needs, so much more. AlpineHomeMedical.com. They've got 10 locations in Utah and southern Idaho and a brand new location coming soon. Visit them at AlpineHomeMedical.com.
Watching Utah's Money is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Microsoft paying $20 million to the Federal Trade Commission. The agency claims the company illegally collected and retained data of children who used Xbox consoles without notifying parents or obtaining consent. Xbox vice president saying the company will improve their age verification systems to ensure parents are involved in the creation of accounts in the future. Experts say people are encouraged to give out 5-star ratings on apps like Uber and Lyft, which is making the ratings less meaningful. Some riders are speaking out, saying that Uber drivers don't have to earn a good rating anymore. They can make it harder to tell which drivers may be providing a good or service. I have to admit, when I have used Uber before, I do feel a little obligated to give the poor guy as best a rating as I can to help him make a living. CEO of Farmers Group telling their employees they're required to work in office multiple days after employees changed their lives to work from home, selling their cars, moving, and even expanding their home offices. More than 22,000 employees will be affected by the requirement. Their CEO, Raul Vargas, claiming it will promote collaboration, creativity, and innovation. Your money at this moment, the market's down, but not by much to start the morning. The Dow is off by just 25 points. The S&P is down 1.25. And the NASDAQ this hour, well, it's in the green, so we're mixed in this hour. It's up by 3.5 points. And it's the 100-day countdown to Cougar football. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
In less than a month, BYU will become an official member of the Big 12 Conference. While BYU fans count down the days, the Cougars' new league home is hard at work with potential expansion. Commissioner Brett Yormark confirmed as much after the conference held its annual spring business meetings.
We did discuss expansion, had a great discussion about expansion, in fact, and we have a plan. As I've said all along, we have an appetite to be a national conference in our makeup from coast to coast, and we do believe in the upside of basketball moving forward as a collective group. That being said, we love our current composition. Love the 4 new schools that are coming in next month. However, if the opportunity presents itself to create value, we will pursue it.
Teams that have been linked to potential Big 12 expansion include Colorado, Arizona, UConn, and Gonzaga. For more, check out the latest Cougar Tracks podcast. Countdown to Cougar football, 88 days to go. I'm Mitch Harper, KSL Sports.
This portion of the news brought to you by the Utah Symphony and their Deer Valley Music Festival. Visit DeerValleyMusicFestival.org for information.
Picture this, a warm summer evening, the sun setting behind the mountains, blankets being laid out on the cool grass, and world-class music. It's the Utah Symphony's Deer Valley Music Festival, and you're invited to escape into the music. With 12 concerts at Snow Park Amphitheater featuring country pop sensation LeAnn Rimes, the movie music of John Williams, alt-rocker Ben Folds, and the Beach Boys. Tickets are on sale now at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org. The sun is hanging in the sky ready to set. Blankets are spreading out across the cool grass. A slight mountain breeze can be felt as picnic baskets begin to open. It's the Utah Symphony's Deer Valley Music Festival, and you're invited to escape into the music. With 12 amazing concerts at Snow Park Amphitheater featuring hit headliner artists and everything from classical to classic rock, there's something just for you. Tickets are on sale now and going fast at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org.
Win great prizes from KSL News Radio. This week, win a gift card to Fat Cats in Bluffdale, now open. Bring the family and enjoy movies, bowling, glow golf, arcades, and more. Or win tickets to the Deer Valley Music Festival's Patriotic Pops. Be there as the Utah Symphony unveils Rhapsody in Red, White, and Blue on June 30th. Get started now by texting the word contest to 57500 or visit kslnewsradio.com/contests.
KSL News Time 5:59. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Andy?
Well, the roadways are looking great for the most part in Salt Lake County. I-15, 18 minutes from Point of the Mountain to downtown. It's been quiet along 215 as you go from Taylorsville up towards the airport, or from Taylorsville across the valley over towards the Highland Drive side of things. Not seeing any problems yet on the 201 freeway other than some heavy traffic at the intersections 84, 80th, and 7200 West. Heather?
Well, it just became a struggle to get into Hill Air Force Base at all three gates. The South Gate in Layton has the worst delays, though, on Hillfield Road heading north. You're just going to have a wall of traffic from Mountain View Drive all the way into the gate, plus the other directions as well. If you're taking I-15 US 89 Legacy Parkway right now, they are running at speed, but traffic is definitely starting to fill in. Eric?
From Provo to Point of the Mountains, a 20-minute drive in Utah County, I-15 looking good, northbound and southbound. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing selection. 4 locations: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country. See it all at performancebountiful.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We are going to look for a high today of 87 degrees, making it the warmest day of the week, but it's also the best chance of precipitation that's coming our way at 70%. 40% tomorrow, and the temperatures will cool off just a little bit to 83, and will stay in the lower 80s for the rest of the 7-day period. 64 now in Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen on the KSL News Radio app and in your car at 102.7 FM. KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 6 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes. Amanda Dixon on vacation this week. And our top story this hour, the search continues this morning for whoever shot at a car on I-15 in Layton while riding on the back of a motorcycle. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with the latest details. Adam?
Tim, police are telling us the suspect was riding a black Harley Davidson when they shot at another car, hitting the driver on I-15 near Layton Hills Mall yesterday afternoon. Utah Highway Patrol Sergeant Rick Schrader tells KSL TV it's possible this is yet another incident involving road rage, which is happening more and more lately.
People are just taking it way, way too far.
Schrader says the person shot was taken to the hospital, but that their injuries are not life-threatening, but they are asking anyone with information to give them a call. And, of course, keep your cool on the roads.
Be tolerant of each other.
Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Family members are mourning 2 loved ones lost, killed in a crash in Eagle Mountain that investigators say was caused by road rage. Here's KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson.
Frank and Michelle Salm tell KSL 5 their brother Rodney Salm had a lust for life and a passion for cars. His girlfriend, Misha Himmelberger, always loved to go along for the ride.
She was always the person to jump in the passenger seat and go for the ride.
The two were out in Rodney's Porsche, enjoying a beautiful Sunday on SR 73 when investigators say drivers of a Nissan and a truck got into an altercation, which eventually led to the truck ramming into the Porsche, killing Rodney and Misha. They say Rodney and Misha were the glue that held everyone together, and now they believe the void their deaths bring will never be filled. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
After 4 shootings and a homicide just this weekend, more police officers will be patrolling near a Market Street parking lot in Salt Lake City. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston is live with the details. Peter.
Tim, the parking lot is at 60 West Market Street, and it saw shootings that left a 22-year-old man dead and a 27-year-old man with an injured hand this weekend. Officers made multiple arrests of people who allegedly tried to interfere with the crime scene and others who drove away when police suspected they were involved. At one point, a shooter reportedly sprayed bullets at officers, sending bullet holes into a sign just above their heads. SLCPD Chief Mike Brown says he doesn't know why the parking lot has become a magnet for such shootings, but he believes that they're isolated and not related to each other. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The Justice Department went with attorneys for former President Trump to talk about the classified documents investigation.
This meeting was a direct request by Donald Trump's legal team. They wrote a letter to Special Counsel Jack Smith and Attorney General Merrick Garland demanding a meeting, saying that they had serious concerns about the investigation, about the grand jury, and they wanted to be heard.
That's ABC's John Santucci reporting. The White House says House Republicans are conducting a stunt as they move to hold the FBI director in contempt for not turning over Biden investigation documents.
A White House spokesman saying the Republican House Oversight Committee is spreading thin innuendo to try and politically damage President Biden. The House Republicans demanding FBI Director Christopher Wray turn over a document where a witness claims Mr. Biden was involved in a financial criminal scheme. A Biden spokesperson says the Justice Department investigated that claim 3 years ago and found no credible evidence.
ABC's Andy Field reporting from Washington. The GOP presidential field is getting more crowded, with Mike Pence now taking on his former boss, and another former governor is set to join him in the race. New Jersey's Chris Christie is expected to make his own announcement today in New Hampshire. The GOP frontrunner, former President Trump, is making his third run for the White House. 79 years ago, the Allies stormed Normandy on D-Day. They're commemorating the event in France this morning. 100-year-old American World War II vet Jake Larson is there, like he was during the invasion. He now lives in California and is known by a new generation.
I'm just a country boy. Now, I'm a star on TikTok.
Larson enlisted for the war when he was 15 years old. If you're already out and about on the roads, let's get a first look traffic check here with Andy.
Basils are pretty busy this morning. Southgate the worst, but you're seeing a little bit extra weight at the West and Roy Gates as well. So far, though, I-15 delay-free, Salt Lake, Davis, and Utah counties. I'm Andy Farnsworth at the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather now with Matt Johnson. Warm temperatures today with a chance of thunderstorms later in the afternoon, and the upper-level snowmelt continues.
We are looking at just the higher elevations, the highest elevations of Utah that are still melting off that record snowpack. For example, the Snowtell site up at Snowbird has about 28.4 inches of snow water equivalent still on the ground. That's about 39% of the record snowpack still to go.
That hailstorm we were talking about on Saturday also deposited some new snow on those mountain peaks. Don't know if you noticed that over the weekend. Matt says places like the Provo River and other watersheds will keep running high through the entire month of June. Representative George Santos' lawyer says the indicted Republican could risk going to jail to protect the identities of the people who co-signed the $500,000 bond enabling his pretrial release. The lawyer urged a judge to deny a request by news outlets to unseal the names of Santos's bond guarantors, suggesting they could suffer great distress, including possible job losses and physical harm, if they're identified publicly. Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, is being sued by the SEC for the mishandling of billions of dollars. This after the downfall of rival FTX last year.
If you think about FTX going under, that for many spelled the death knell of crypto. It was such a giant exchange. It was a place that people thought of as a marquee name in the space. Binance was the other marquee name, and at least by the public record, Binance was doing even more transactions than FTX was doing.
ABC's Rebecca Jarvis reporting. And 5 potential designs have been unveiled for a permanent memorial to the victims of the shootings at a Las Vegas country music festival back in 2017. 60 people died in that shooting. Each memorial design includes a garden element. A committee is gathering public input, and they're working to get a plan through before the 6th anniversary of the shooting. From Provo to Ogden, everything looks good on I-15, at least so far. No crashes or delays. We'll check it again with traffic and weather together next.
Breaking news is just one ask away.
Playing KSL News Radio.
More water, but less parking at Bear Lake this summer.
Be careful letting your pets play in the grass. In your home, tell Alexa, play KSL News Radio. Then listen in your car at 102.7 FM.
Hello.
Hi, I'm
Mr. Sparky.
What gave it away? The fancy tool belt? How about the big red truck?
Actually,
Yes.
you're on time.
That's our motto. We're on time. You'll see her. The repair is free.
You rhymed. That's cute. Are you always available?
24/7.
24/7.
I don't sleep much. So what seems to be the problem?
Well, my toddler plugged the dog into the light socket.
Yeah, I see your house is blinking like a pinball machine.
Can you fix it?
The house or the dog?
The house.
Well, I'm Mr. Sparky. If it's electrical, I
You
can
can
fix
it.
You betcha.
From a small electrical problem to new lights to smart home services, generators to whole house
surge protection, and everything electrical in between. Call America's on-time electrician. Mr. Sparky is fully licensed to install or repair any electrical work. Just call 888-8-SPARKY.
Hold on, this is where we bring in the singers.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Calling all Utah locals. See the Southwest by rail on board Rocky Mountaineer. They've extended their latest offer until June 30th. Save up to $1,200 per couple. Visit RockyMountaineer.com to book.
Hey, losing weight can be a tricky process for a lot of people. It's a big struggle, and we know the challenge with everyone. That's why Soda Weight Loss is so incredible, because it's a program that's based on science. If you follow the program, you will drop those unwanted fat pounds. Guys drop 3 to 5 pounds a week. Women drop 2 to 3 pounds. And it's simply by following the program. It's all about nutrition if you want to drop that weight. And it's healthy. It's specifically designed for you. You're going to work with a nutritionist that will work with you. They've had over 5,000 people on their website who have had tremendous success. I've had tremendous success. Alex has had tremendous success. A lot of people here in our radio group have just done remarkable. And you can too. It's that simple. You're going to have someone you're accountable to, who you check in with, and it's not just about losing it. It's about keeping it off after. It's a lifetime commitment, a lifetime program. You can get healthy, I promise you. Check out sodaweightloss.com.
We start the morning with information that the police are searching for a motorcyclist who shot at a vehicle, injuring a driver on I-15 in Layton yesterday afternoon. If you have any information, they're asking that you contact police. KSL News Time now is 6:09. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9's. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Here's Andy.
Tim, right now, travel through the valley has been in great shape on I-15. I'm starting to see some traffic increasing in longer stretches of 21st South, heavy traffic between the Kennecott Stack and Magna, but not much into the West Valley portion of 201. Bangerter's got a little bit of waiting down at 98 South in South Jordan, and then it's clear for now all the rest of the way up to the airport. Heather?
We've got a crash in Bountiful. This is right in the middle of the intersection of 500 West, 500 South. That'll take you to the freeway, and you've got all directions of travel affected because of this crash. Some lanes are completely blocked, so you may want to avoid that. Try to take a different route to I-15. Once you're on I-15, though, you've got good speeds, even coming out of Ogden all the way into Salt Lake City, and then just the big backups trying to get into Hill Air Force Base at all three gates. Eric?
Well, we sort of had some hiccups to the start on US 40 in the Wasatch Back this morning, and northbound slowing around Jordanelle Reservoir. Right now, it looks pretty clean from Heber City up to the Park City area. And likewise for I-80 drivers heading out to the Kimball Junction exit, no problems there through Partley's Canyon. I-15 in Utah County, northbound, southbound, that's looking good. Stop by your locally owned and operated Big O Tires for big summer savings on tires. And don't forget, Big O also does oil changes, alignments, shocks, batteries, and more. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're headed to the upper 80s today, high of 87, and a chance for thunderstorms by afternoon and evening. Overnight lows in the 60s, mild, partly cloudy. Tomorrow we'll pop up the storms again, high of 83. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in Salt Lake City, it is 64 degrees. Beautiful sunrise just a short time ago, just a glow over the Wasatch Mountain Range. Looking forward to talking with Jim Ryan coming up here in a minute. More stores are leaving downtown San Francisco, and it's not just San Francisco. Portland's lost some as well, and in other parts of the country. But Nordstrom, I think, was the latest to announce, along with Office Depot, Old Navy, that they were getting out of San Francisco because of the crime, because of the shoplifting, the old five-finger discount. You'll be surprised at the number, the dollar number that is attached to the losses for businesses. We'll talk about it with Jim coming up next at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. Thanks again for riding along on this Tuesday morning with Utah's all-day companion for news.
Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning have an exciting offer that's literally going to give you some well-deserved free time. Zero Res has partnered with Unload, Utah's premier valet laundry and dry cleaning service for busy individuals, families, and businesses. And this Monday and Tuesday, they have a special gift for you. Schedule your carpet cleaning right now and get your first 4 rooms of carpet cleaned for just $99 and a free valet laundry service from Unload. Dirt, dust, dander, and allergens don't stand a chance. So if the spring pollen is starting to catch you, or maybe it's just time for a regular cleaning, make the call today. No other company can offer you the same no-residue cleaning, combined with tile, upholstery, and air ducts too. With Zero Res, it truly is a whole home cleaning. Make time for what matters most with Zero Res and Unload. 4 rooms cleaned for $99 and a free service from Unload. Call for details and restrictions. Limited time offer ending on June 6th or after the first 100 customers. For more, visit ZeroRes.com. ZeroRes.com.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep, switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
He might not have a badge, but we have faith in his killer instinct. Celebrate the 10th anniversary of famed detective priest, Father Brown. Stream the new season now, only on BritBox.
That sounds like a marvellous plan.
Plus, watch even more unofficial detectives in much-loved series, including Agatha Christie's Marple, Murder in Provence, and more. Expect intriguing mystery. Expect the Undetectives. Start streaming today at BritBox.com.
Smart, connected, modern. Discover life-enhancing independent living services at Trio South Ogden. They do things a little differently there because you're different. With everything you need to support your best self, you'll find that joy isn't just for the young, it's for the young of heart. Trio South Ogden's signature programs provide a unique approach to wellness that brings living well and well-being to life. To learn more, contact Trio South Ogden at 801-475-4004 or visit triosouthodden.com.
KSL News Time, 6:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
police continue to investigate a possible road rage shooting on I-15 in Layton, and they're still looking for the suspected shooter. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the state's GOP chair believes lawmakers will soon call for a special session to address the planned resignation of Representative Chris Stewart. And third, it's traffic and weather together.
And so far, no delays to report for I-15 commuters yet. Volumes increasing a little bit on a few city streets, but the biggest slowdowns this morning have been around the Hill Air Force Base. We do have a crash in Bountiful, though, 5th West, 5th South, about a block from I-15. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Scattered storms today and tomorrow, then a little break. I'm Matt Johnson.
64 degrees to start the morning with KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. In southern Ukraine, water is now gushing from the destroyed side of a major dam in an area of the country held by Russian forces. ABC's Tom Sophie Burge is on the ground in Ukraine with the latest.
Real concern about the situation developing near that dam controlled by Russian forces, which was blown up overnight. Communities along the vast Dnipro River in southern Ukraine already flooded, with concerns about a nuclear plant in that area. A sense of crisis right on the front lines as Ukraine goes on the offensive.
Extreme flooding could impact hundreds of thousands of people who have been told to evacuate their homes. Some areas are already cut off. This is the D-Day. It was carried out, and this morning in Normandy, France, World War II veterans are exchanging stories and reflecting the events of 79 years ago.
American and British veterans, brothers in arms, back together once again, remembering and paying respects.
I want to give you a hug. Thank you. Thank you too. I got tears in my house.
It wasn't a matter of fighting for the king and country, not far as I was concerned. It's a matter of fighting against the evil of Germany.
On D-Day, Allied troops landed on the beaches. On that single day, 4,414 Allied soldiers lost their lives, 2,501 of them Americans. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Let's go in depth here. Retail theft is proving to be an issue for large store chains and small mom and pop shops, but anti-theft methods threaten to alienate honest customers. Joining me live, ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. I think our listeners would be shocked at the actual dollar amount that is listed here that's affecting these poor store owners.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, shoplifting costs about $47 billion every year. Huge. But there's something beyond that, too, and that's organized retail crime. These aren't just people who shoplift something, take it home and use it. These are folks who are part of an organized criminal activity. walking in, stealing heavy or high-end items, taking it and selling it to a different retailer or selling it online. And that costs up to $94 billion every year. It did in 2021, at least. National Retail Federation is trying to combat this. And as far as alienating customers, Tim, you've probably walked into a store, big box store, or even a smaller one. You need something, razors, for example, shavers. You walk over and they're locked up in a plexiglass case. You have to ask an employee to get the key to unlock the thing, take the item out, lock the case, walk over, cash out. It's inconvenient. And some customers say they've had enough and they're moving to online sources to buy things like that. And that it creates this death spiral for brick and mortar retailers and mom and pop stores as well.
Yeah, the story this past week was how they're looking to put just about everything under lock and key, which is really going to make it a tough shop.
Well, it really is. And so retailers are looking for different ways to handle it without alienating their customers. They're using security cameras that they have been for several years. The video is very clear now, full color, and can, in many cases, identify people who are committing crimes. I know of one retailer, a hardware store owner in the Rio Grande Valley down in West Loco, Texas, has had security cameras in place, but now has begun to post video of shoplifters taking things from his store or attempting to, posting it on the store's website, kind of in an attempt to shame these customers or these shoplifters into either not doing it again or into bringing back the items they stole.
Well, one of the problems that these retailers are talking about, small and large, is sometimes it's state law, sometimes it's city or county law that would allow shoplifting as long as you don't take anything over $700 worth to not even be prosecuted.
Sure, yeah. Not only is it it's not a felony or a misdemeanor anymore. It's really something that's not going to be prosecuted. Staffing shortages in police departments, overwhelmed district attorneys' offices. They just don't have the manpower to try to prosecute every case, and so this cutoff is created. And you're right, shoplifters are well aware of that, and they walk in and steal $995 worth of stuff instead of $1,000. Knowing that they haven't met that criterion to be prosecuted.
Oh, it's just crazy stuff. All right, Jim, thanks for your reporting on this. ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. And I mentioned a minute ago, 17 stores now have left the San Francisco Union Square area in the past little while. Nordstrom being the latest, Office Depot, Old Navy, many of these retailers just saying, look, we're not going to put up with it. Starbucks moved a lot of their locations to other places because they said it was a risk for their employees. It is time again for a look at traffic and weather together, which we do every 10 minutes on the Nines. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Still good out there, Andy?
It's still pretty good. Salt Lake Valley not seeing any I-15 delays, but we're starting to see some really busy traffic approaching the freeway on the Draper and Sandy Riverton side of things. Again, on the city streets, but once you're on the main flow, you've got the full speed limit with no extra delay all the way to your destination. 201, all clear through Magna after seeing some heavy traffic last hour. It'll be back, but for now, enjoy zipping through there without any extra wait time. Heather?
The biggest delays for Davis County drivers is trying to get into Hill Air Force Base this morning. The worst gate is the South Gate in Layton. You've got several blocks of delay, especially heading north on Hillfield Road. But you also have backups at the West Gate in Clearfield, all directions, all roads leading into the base there. Southbound I-15 still traveling at speeds, but down in Bountiful, we've got a crash right in the middle of the intersection of 500 West, 500 South. All northbound lanes are blocked. All traffic has to turn west heading toward I-15 if you approach that intersection. Eric?
It's not a bad day to go out into the mountains. Highway 6 and US 189 through Spanish Fork and Provo Canyon. Spanish Fork Canyon, Provo Canyon, respectively. Both those looking good. Parley's Canyon also in good shape. And I-15 Utah County at normal travel time. So ready to level up your boating skills? Dive into a boating education course and unlock a sea of knowledge. From learning the ropes to the rules, gain the expertise to navigate with finesse and chart your course to safety. Visit boating.utah.gov to learn more. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-8 forecast starts out warm. 87 degrees today with a chance for scattered storms. We bubble up showers and storms again for your Wednesday, high of 83. Partly cloudy Thursday, 82. We keep it dry with a chance for storms in the mountains, though, Friday, 82. 81 mostly cloudy on Saturday. Chance for storms return on Sunday and Monday. Highs in the low 80s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in Salt Lake City, it is 64 degrees. That 70% chance of showers. I haven't looked at the hourly forecast, but if it gets as crazy as it has from time to time with these thunder bumpers that move through, you're going to want to be listening on your way home this afternoon. Jeff Kaplan and the team will guide you back safely and on time. Jeff's here 3 to 7 o'clock. KSL News Time, 6:23.
Elder abuse often goes unnoticed and unreported, especially when older adults are isolated and lack access to resources. Well, on June 15th from 10 to noon, you're invited to a virtual event hosted by the Utah Department of Health and Human Services and Aging Service Partners. Because June 15th is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. The focus of this year's conference is working together in collaborative partnership to educate, report, and prevent financial exploitation and other forms of maltreatment against older and vulnerable adults in Utah. You'll hear from a wonderful lineup of notable keynote speakers, including an introduction from Utah's Governor Cox. Please help protect Utah's older and more vulnerable adults, not just on one day, but every day. Attend this virtual event on June 15th from 10 a.m. to noon and find out what you can watch for. Text SENIOR to 57500 to register. That's SENIOR to 57500.
Give your savings a boost with 5% APY on a 12-month certificate from Cyprus Credit Union. Now's the perfect time to make the most of increased rates and earn more when you save. Open your Cyprus certificate and start earning 5% APY today. Learn more at any branch or visit cypruscu.com.
Cyprus Credit Union. Your future is our future.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Interest rates have gone up for buying a home, but not for remodeling the exterior of your home. This week only at RGS Exteriors, it's our zero interest financing sale. That's right, 0% interest on any gutters, siding, windows, or any exterior remodeling project on your home. We have programs for 12, 18, and 24 months, all with 0% financing. But the sale is this week only at RGS Exteriors. Want stunning James Hardie siding? 0%. Need to replace your windows? 0%. New gutters or gutter covers? 0%. How about a full extreme makeover? That's right, 0%. We've also been serving Utah for 5 generations, so you can trust us to do the job right. All work is backed by our exclusive 10-year everything guarantee for total peace of mind. And this week only, everything is available for 0% financing with approved credit. Don't put off your new exterior project any longer. As always, estimates are free, so call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's rgsutah.com.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Americans are getting more spam texts than ever, receiving over 225 billion messages last year. I think I got most of those. Cybersecurity experts warning that these texts could lead to possible hacks and scams. The price of eggs returning to normal, according to the egg experts. Prices peaked right before Easter, jumping 70%. Holiday demand, higher production costs for farmers, and an outbreak of bird flu contributed to the jump. The USDA reporting a wholesale dozen has dropped from $5.30 to just $1. All right, let's see how the futures markets are doing this morning. We're down slightly, off 21 points on the Dow. Just 3 points loss here on the S&P, and the NASDAQ for a brief time was in the green. It's now off by about 14 points. Volume is increasing out there. Still no major delays, though, on the freeways, at least so far. We'll check your traffic and weather together next.
Our state's children face a serious threat from the vaping industry, but thanks to state leaders and the Utah Health Department, Utah established the strictest nicotine standards for vaping in the United States to protect our kids. However, the vaping industry sued, claiming their sales and profits are down. Now they're pushing the Health Department to hand control of vaping regulations to the federal government. We can't allow that to happen. The proposed change would automatically increase nicotine levels in vape pens and reintroduce fruity flavors that entice our kids back into Utah convenience stores. Visit StopKidsVaping.com today and make your voice heard. Utah should maintain state control, preserve our 3% nicotine limitations, and prevent vaping flavors from returning to Utah convenience stores. Together, we can secure a better future for our children. Join us at StopKidsVaping.com and tell the Health Department, protect our kids.
Paid for by Prosperous Utah Communities.
Summer 2023 will be one to remember.
Mike Pence and Chris Christie set to enter the race.
Governor Cox is actively looking for trade away from China.
Brace for higher gas prices. It's a summer to camp out on KSL. Tim and Amanda have breaking news. Mornings 5 to 9. David Dujanovic and Boyd Matheson talk about the biggest stories during the day. And you get updates and Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News from 3 to 7 on the drive home. The summer of 2023 will be on KSL News Radio.
Time for that look at traffic and weather together at 6:29. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Andy, sounds like we're still problem-free.
Yeah, we're starting to see a heavier flow of traffic on I-15 coming up from Draper to Sandy, Midvale, Murray, that area, but it's not backing up at all. You're not seeing extra travel time. You're just right around your normal 20 minutes through the valley. It's a little bit better on 90th and 123rd near I-15, which we're seeing some backups a little bit ago. Don't see any extra travel time along I-80 or 201 out of Tooele. That's good. Heather?
We are dealing with a couple of crashes in Davis County. One of them is in Syracuse, right near the intersection of 2000 West, 700 South. That's by the Syracuse High School. Good news is there's not a lot of traffic there, so not a lot of delay. Then you also have a crash in Bountiful at the intersection of 500 West, 500 South. All northbound lanes are shut down at the moment. People will be diverted as you approach that intersection. And east and westbound lanes are also affected, but it looks like you can get through. Southbound I-15 has most of your traffic right now. It is filling in, but no slowdowns at this time. Eric.
The freeway is looking sharp in Utah County, northbound I-15 from Santa Clara to the county line. That's a 30-minute drive right now. We aren't seeing enough activity to cause any delays on Pioneer Crossing, Lehigh's Main Street, or 2100 North if you're eastbound from Redwood over to the freeway. Premium checking from America First is more than a regular account. In fact, it's so loaded with benefits and features, it was voted Best Perks by Money.com. Apply for it today at AmericaFirst.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
87 degrees for a high later this afternoon along the Wasatch Front. That'll be just before those showers start to move through. About a 70% chance of getting wet sometime this afternoon. And right now it's 64 degrees in Salt Lake City.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 6:30, and our top story this half hour. Utah's Republican chair believes that state lawmakers will call a special session to address Representative Chris Stewart's planned resignation from Congress. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with the details. Adam?
Tim, Utah Republican Chair Robert Axon says based on the conversations he's had with state lawmakers, he believes they will call a special session to address the timeline around when Representative Chris Stewart leaves office. Axon tells KSL at night if Stewart resigns in September, they could potentially run into problems overlapping with a potential re-election campaign for his successor, or potentially having a vacant seat in Washington for a time, since state law currently requires 90 days for a primary and another 90 days for a general election.
I think it is a detriment to voters if this election carries on to overlap with next year's likely re-election bid for whoever replaces Congressman Stewart.
Axon says the idea for the session would be to potentially cut down on that wait time. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Investigators have released videos and photos taken off the phone of an Enix City man who police say killed 7 family members before taking his own life back in January. Deseret News reporter Kyle Dunphy watched those videos, saying that Michael Haight spoke like it was a normal day in the home.
You're basically seeing this man carry on as if it's business as usual. I mean, there's one instance he's talking about possibly taking his kids sledding the next day, right? And of course, we know what happened the next day.
Dunphy's story can be found online at DeseretNews.com. 2 kayakers got rescued on the Great Salt Lake after their boats started deflating, and this morning, boats are returning to the Great Salt Lake Marina. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston joins me live with that update. Peter?
Tim, the kayakers called for help just before 9 p.m., and the North Tooele Fire District immediately dispatched a state parks officer to bring them to safety. That officer found them as the sun was setting, more than a mile from shore, and with no life jackets. Emergency response teams could get a lot more busy starting today, since boats are splashing back in the marina. That's big news, since Park Manager Dave Shearer said 2 months ago that he didn't think any boats would be going back in the Great Salt Lake this year. Runoff has raised the water level of the lake at least 4 feet since a historic low last year. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. A second flight of migrants arrived in Sacramento, California from Texas. The unannounced arrivals have California leaders threatening criminal charges against those organizing the flights.
Unlike some states, the issue here is not a state or a community unable to handle undocumented immigrants. California is a border state. It deals with an influx every single day. The resources are already here. The anger coming from state leaders is that they claim the state of Florida, at the direction of Ron DeSantis, is paying a contractor to move the migrants by promising them work if they fly to California, which there is not work waiting for them. So the California leaders say the whole thing is based on a lie and that it's kidnapping. And two, California isn't getting a heads up, so the group is dropped off randomly from a bus in Sacramento. Nobody is waiting to accept them.
ABC's Alex Stone reporting. The NTSB is at the Virginia site where a Cessna Citation jet crashed on Sunday, killing the pilot and the 3 passengers on board. Officials say it took 90 minutes after air traffic control lost contact with the aircraft before fighter jets were scrambled to intercept it because of how close it was to Washington, D.C.
The NTSB is considering whether a sudden loss of cabin pressure could have incapacitated all of those on board. But with the force of the crash decimating the plane, figuring out exactly what happened may prove difficult. In addition to the pilot and nanny, who have yet to be named, Adina Azarian, a New York real estate agent, and her 2-year-old daughter, Aria, died in the crash.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert reporting. A Missouri inmate is set to be executed today, even with community leaders protesting the decision. 42-year-old Michael Tessius is scheduled to die by lethal injection by shooting and killing 2 Randolph County prison guards in 2000. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
His execution was delayed last week after his attorneys claimed a juror in his 2010 resentencing hearing could not read or write English, which is a requirement for jury duty. And several jurors and alternates from that trial also signed an affidavit saying they would not object if the state's Republican governor commuted the sentence to life in prison instead of death. But Missouri Governor Mike Parson was not swayed, denying clemency for Tessius, noting he previously ran a small county jail, saying in a statement, it's despicable that 2 dedicated public servants were murdered in a failed attempt to help another criminal evade the law.
The U.S. Supreme Court has also declined a request to stay the execution. First look traffic, we go back to Andy Farnsworth.
Well, Tim, it's been decent on the main corridor of the freeways. I-15 yet to see any delays between Draper, downtown, Ogden, or in Utah County either. But we've had city street issues, the crash in Bountiful, 5th South, 5th West. We've had one out in Syracuse near the high school, and then we've had slowdowns trying to get to the south gate of Hill Air Force Base this morning that have been more than usual. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Officials are reporting a fire in a remote area of Zion National Park near the Imlake Canyon. Jonathan Schaefer with the National Park Service says hikers that see smoke near West Rim Trail, Observation Point, and other areas don't need to report it.
It's in a remote part of the park. It's not near any trails or open canyoneering routes.
But Schaefer says park visitors need to make sure to put out coals from fires and only make fires in designated fire rings. Crews are also reminding visitors to watch out for dragging chains and not to park near dry plants as we enter the wildfire season. The wall of a major dam in parts of southern Ukraine that Moscow controls collapsed this morning, triggering floods, causing evacuations, and endangering Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Ukraine accused Russian forces of blowing up the dam and hydroelectric power station. Russia officials blame Ukrainian military strikes. Coming up in a minute, we'll check the roads again this morning with traffic and weather together. A couple of city streets now in Davis County, one in Bountiful, one in Syracuse are starting to see some slowdowns. We'll check with the team next.
Start your day with all news in the morning. Then hear Dave and Dujanovic talk about the biggest stories from 9 to noon.
Utah is the fastest growing state out there.
You need to stop blaming Californians.
Breaking news, important talk, all morning on KSL News Radio.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Hi, Doug Wright, and I want to talk to people who are working on the plans for dear old Dad for Father's Day. It is coming right up, and the perfect gift for dear old Dad, or the perfect place to take dear old Dad for Father's Day, is Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, with their 2 locations, it is absolutely perfect. Dad will get that steak cooked exactly to his taste. And, of course, the side dishes and the desserts are legendary. And here's the best part. Not only will Dad be happy, but you're going to be going along with him, and so you'll have the same great meal, and you don't have to worry about the preparation, the cleanup, nothing. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse at Hotel Park City and downtown Salt Lake City at 275 Southwest Temple will take care of the entire family. And maybe when you're buying dear old Dad a card, just slip in a gift card to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Well, looks like the plans are well underway to fill the seat of Representative Chris Stewart when he steps aside from Congress. A special session could be called here in the state of Utah. It's one of the stories we're following this morning with our Adam Small. KSL News Time now is 6:39. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. A lot more people pulling into the parking lot downtown, Andy, which I'm guessing means a lot more people on the roads this hour.
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit of brake tapping on northbound 15 going between 72nd, 53rd South and Murray on I-15, but it's not really too bad just yet. Drivers on Bangerter, just a little bit built up at 98th and at 21st South, not much in the middle. 201 starting to back up again as you go through Magna. SR36 in Tooele has got a little bit of slowing right before the Stansbury Park big intersection and then right before the I-80 merge in Lake Point. Heather?
Traffic's starting to get pretty busy now, southbound I-15 through Weber and Davis County. Your heaviest flow is between Clearfield and Farmington. No slowdowns yet, though, through that stretch. You still have problems getting into Hill Air Force Base, both at the South Gate in Layton and the West Gate in Clearfield. But the good news is for Bountiful drivers, the earlier crash at 500 South, 500 West has cleared. Eric?
Yeah, we're starting to get a little bit busier down in Provo this morning, both on University Avenue and 500 West, but no major delays anyplace in Utah County. That includes the freeway. It's a 20-minute drive from Provo to Point of the Mountain. Find out more about how your kitchen or bath can be the kitchen or bath of your dreams in just 3 days. Just visit 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're headed to the upper 80s today, high of 87, and a chance for thunderstorms by afternoon and evening. Overnight lows in the 60s, mild, partly cloudy. Tomorrow we'll pop up the storms again, high of 83. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Warmed up a notch. 65 degrees now in downtown Salt Lake City. That sun will be popping up over the Wasatch any time now. You done DNA research to find out a little bit about your relatives, where they came from in the world? My daughter just did this, and we were gathered together with family a couple of nights ago and discovered we're basically mutts. England, Ireland, Germany, you name it. Now you can do DNA tests for your pets. Why? We're going to find out from KSL TV's Mike Anderson. That's coming up in depth in just a minute, so stay with us at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. Thanks for riding along on this Tuesday morning with KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
You heard the call of spring and went to town planning your yard and garden. Everything's in, not too shabby. But you still could use a little help. After all, when you dress things up, it's the little things that zero in on the oohs and ahs. Like a nice top dress. No, not the one with those expensive shoes in your closet. Top dress as in compost, bark mulch, and decorative rock for your just about beautiful yard. Oh, and by the way, with just 2 to 3 inches of that covering, you help keep the weeds out, save water, and keep the plants cooler. So, how do you put those finishing touches together? You call the Dirt Bag. The Dirt Bag makes dressing up your yard so much easier. They'll deliver your bag of bark, mulch, or decorative rock right to your driveway. You can go pick it up, if you like, just west of Mountain View Corridor at 6440 West, 9790 South in West Jordan. This is one Dirt Bag you'll love. It helps you save money and time. Order your bag now at thedirtbag.com. That's thedirtbag.com.
Jeff's here with his Minute of News this morning, brought to you by The Dirt Bag for your garden projects. Garden soil, decorative rock, and more delivered right to your door.
The most popular guy on Twitter, the owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, who's now losing money hand over fist. Give or take, it's worth about $30 billion less than the day he bought it. But if he was looking for an expensive megaphone, he found one. His tweets are seen by 140 million followers, and they're raw meat to the anti-woke crowd. By any metric, hate speech has surged on Twitter, and millions of users are fed up. They don't want any politics shoved in their faces, and they don't like the outages since Twitter fired nearly everybody, but there's no place else to go for the Twitter experience except perhaps a new social media service that's bubbling under the surface. It's been around for 4 years, quietly.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long.
Blue Sky is run by the guy who used to be the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, a weird guy who's licensed as a massage therapist who fasts on the weekends and prefers to work under infrared light. So far, while it's in beta, Blue Sky can only be joined by invitation. Members are allowed to invite someone every 2 weeks, and these invites have been like Taylor Swift tickets. People on the left, and the kind of folks who love exclusive clubs, are paying up to $1,000 on eBay to get into the door of a club with about 100,000 members. Twitter has 360 million. Once you get inside Blue Sky, it's just like Twitter, except it leans left. By the way, Twitter posts, of course, are called tweets. Blue Sky posts are called skeets. And besides that difference, it seems the primary benefit of Blue Sky is that Elon Musk is not a member.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Well, something for everybody out there. Just back this afternoon, 3 to 7 o'clock here on KSL News Radio. Our news time is 6:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
Utah's Republican chair believes state lawmakers will call for a special session to address the planned resignation of Representative Chris Stewart. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, there's a new fire in a remote area of Zion National Park near M Lake Canyon this morning. Third, we'll continue to watch the drive with traffic and weather together.
Traffic on I-15 slowing down a bit in the middle of the valley between 7200 and 5300 south. It came to a stop for a second, so maybe there was something in traffic that they had to move out of the way. Also got some southbound 15 slowdowns increasing in Kaysville. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Scatter storms possible again today with a high of 87. I'm Matt Johnson.
65 degrees downtown with KSL's top national stories.
Another potential humanitarian crisis in eastern Ukraine. Hundreds of thousands have had to have been evacuated because of a major dam break. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge on the ground with more.
It's noteworthy that President Zelensky of Ukraine on at least 2 occasions last year warned that Russia might try and blow that dam up. What is not clear right now is how much the flooding and the unfolding crisis might impact Ukrainian offensive operations along that crucial southern front line.
Honoring those who fought at Normandy on the day that the Allied invasion took place 79 years ago, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin.
The veterans of World War II, we salute you. You saved the world. We must merely defend it.
Officials are investigating whether Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis was behind a flight that picked up asylum seekers on the Texas border and flew them, apparently without their knowledge, to California's capital of Sacramento. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We often hear from people that have been taking DNA tests to find relatives or learn more about their medical history. But there's now a trend for people to get DNA tests for their pets.
Even at his age.
Probably about 14, that's what I'm guessing, yeah.
Wayne Watson says Jasper is likely his favorite.
He's number 8.
Of all the dogs he's ever had, which is partly why he wanted to know more.
After we had him for a little while, especially when he was younger, he looked so much like a miniature pinscher.
Then he heard about something he'd never really considered.
And our daughter, who's a veterinary technician, suggested that we use this Embark Vet DNA testing, which is like 23andMe and Ancestry.com, but it's for dogs.
The idea to make the test available for dog owners comes in part from Adam Boyko, an associate professor at Cornell University.
We were doing research grade array testing in my lab where we were looking at 200,000 markers across the genome.
But if you wanted to buy a dog DNA test, the most advanced one on the market was only looking at like 300 markers across the genome, right?
And now with all of that dog data, the folks at Embark say they've been able to find some markers that show predispositions for certain diseases, helping some dog owners get some better preventative care. And that brings us back to Jasper.
He's half Chihuahua, quarter cattle, Australian cattle dog, quarter small poodle, or not quarter, but and then the rest is just big mix.
No Doberman at all, but there's another reason why Watson got the DNA test. He rescued Jasper from a shelter after he was found in the home of a hoarder in Ogden in 2012 with 148 other dogs. We covered the story here on KSL. Watson says Jasper has always been afraid of other dogs.
If you can imagine about 150 dogs all in a house smaller than this, probably fighting for their existence, it probably wasn't very pleasant.
But he thought if just maybe he could find a dog sibling, that could be different.
I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe if he got together with some of his relatives, he might be more of a dog person.
He says they did find several cousins and one sister.
But they had passed away.
Still, that's okay. Watson says he's grateful for what they did learn about Jasper, even if it's likely he'll have to remain more of a person than a dog person.
I kind of like that. He figured if he could find some distant relatives, maybe he could reunite him with somebody that he would enjoy spending time around. KSL TV's Mike Anderson with that story for us this morning on the In-Depth at 15 and 45. It is 6:49. Time for a look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Some slowdowns out there, Andy.
Yeah, listeners said that Highway Patrol did stop traffic for a moment on I-15 going up to between 215 and 53rd South. They've let the traffic go, but there's still some residual reduced speeds going through the area. It's also getting a little bit slower as you come up on 33rd South in downtown. Got a crash or something, it looks like, on eastbound 80 just after the Lake Point on-ramp. I see the backups from the Lake Point on-ramp going for about a half mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile as you head towards the 201 split out of Tooele. Heather?
No delays yet throughout Weber and Davis County, maybe just slightly falling below the speed limit southbound I-15 in Kaysville. It's about this time of the morning we might see merging issues. You still have a little bit of delay trying to get into the south gate of Hill Air Force Base, but that appears to be easing, as well as getting into the west gate in Clearfield. And things look pretty good on US 89 and Legacy Parkway. Eric.
Got some southbound slowing between 2100 North and Lehigh's Main Street on I-15 in Utah County on the northbound side. No problems from Santaquin Payson all the way up to Thanksgiving Point. If you're out on the Wasatch Back, US 40 is a clean drive right now from Heber City going past Jordanelle Reservoir to the turnoff into Park City. And I-80 through the mountains, that's also in good shape. Zero Res has partnered with Unload, Utah's premier valet laundry and dry cleaning service. Schedule your carpet or air duct cleaning with Zero Res, and they'll add in a free service from Unload. Call for details, 801-288-9376. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 87 today with a chance for thunder showers by afternoon. Touch cooler tomorrow, 83. Scattered thunderstorms in the forecast. 82 partly cloudy on Thursday. Friday the same, 82. 81 and mostly cloudy for your Saturday. Working into Sunday, Monday, how about highs right around 80 with scattered thunderstorms? From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
There's that sunshine we were anticipating, at least in downtown Salt Lake City. Things will start to warm up quickly now. Provo, 67. Nice to have you listening down there in Utah County. Davis and Weber County, we know you're there. Ogden, 63. St. George, the other end of the state, obviously the warm spot at 69. And here in Salt Lake City, 65 degrees. This 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. We're counting down the 100 days. We're well within it now to BYU football and Big 12 football. And we'll have another report coming up with Mitch Harper next hour. Just want to remind you, if you're a BYU fan, text the word BYU or the letters BYU to the Cypress Credit Union KSL text line. We'll make sure to get you scores and anything else you might need to know about your team at 57500.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Boyd Matheson on the pitfalls of politics. Sadly, both political parties are more interested in scoring political points than they are solving the American people's problems. They're playing a zero-sum game, and it's not zero-sum. It's everybody coming together. We have to come together. Compromise has integrity. That's a big part of what's going wrong in our nation's capital and in many conversations around the country.
Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson, 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through June, purchase through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Spotify is back laying off workers. 200 people are about to lose their jobs. The company already laid off 6% of their employees at the start of the year. Spotify says they're working to partner with podcasters around the world and have been needing to restructure their own podcast department to accommodate that shift. A $107 billion investment by Japan to develop hydrogen energy. The country hopes to increase the supply, reducing carbon emissions. Leaders say they want to turn the country into a hydrogen society, creating a stable energy supply and promoting economic growth. And thousands of Microsoft Outlook users struggled to get into their emails yesterday morning. You may have even experienced a little of that overnight. Outage Tracker Detector reports 15,000 users reported issues with Microsoft 365 yesterday. Microsoft tweeted that they're working on the issue. Things started to get better, it sounded like, by early afternoon. All right, your money at this moment. How are we doing? We're about 35 minutes away from the opening bell. Down just slightly. The Dow is off 24. The S&P is down 3. The Nasdaq's still in the red, but only by 16 points. Gold is now up about $2 an ounce. We've had a good morning of it so far as accidents go, but we have had some reports of some slowdowns and even a forced slowdown for a brief time. The pace on the freeways dropping in a couple of spots, like northbound I-15 from Sandy into Murray. Traffic and weather together is next.
At Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital, we made a bold promise to build the nation's model health system for children. Join us in realizing our vision for the future of pediatric care. So together, we can expand primary children's impact and ensure every child has access to the right care at the right place at the right time. For a century, Primary Children's has kept the child first and always. Help us continue to do so for the next 100 years. To get involved, visit primarypromise.org.
At 34, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I finished up my treatments. I truly feel like every day is a gift. I really want to give back, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to help with this study.
Heredogene is an extraordinarily innovative research study wherein we are looking at the genes of hundreds of thousands of participants.
The more information that we have, the more we can help others.
You can help at heredogene.org.
Helping people live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Healthcare, healing for life.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Win great gifts for Dad this year with KSL's Father's Day giveaway. Give Dad a day of fun with a family 4-pack of all-day Lagoon tickets. Lagoon, it's what fun is. Or give Dad the gift of a great smile with a teeth cleaning and whitening package, courtesy of Grandpa's Family Dental. Grandpa's Family Dental. Health and energy begin in the mouth. Text the word contest to 57500 or visit kslnewsradio.com/contests.
KSL News Time 6:59. Traffic and weather together is again brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. How about now, Andy?
Well, Tim, slowdowns not as bad as they were right at the middle of the valley, but they are a little bit slow approaching 90th and 53rd. Mountain View's really backed up now in West Valley between 4100, 3500 south. And then those of you coming on the 201 freeway through Magna can expect brake lights between 80th and 7200 west. The slowing we had on I-80 from an earlier crash near the Lake Point on-ramp has cleared. Heather?
We do have a bit of slowing southbound I-15 right at 200 north in Kaysville. That's typically merging issues. But as you continue southbound, we now have some slowdowns as you leave 23rd North Warm Springs Road, head toward 600 north. Now, I haven't heard of an accident in that area. There could have been debris with traffic slowed down for a little bit, but it looks like it's easing. Legacy Parkway in the West Side Belt still at speed through Davis County. Eric?
Well, we've got some eastbound delays between the Kimball Junction exit on I-80 heading over to Silver Creek, just like we had yesterday. Hopefully, we won't get any crashes as part of the mix this morning. I-15 Utah County, northbound, southbound, looking good from Provo to Lehigh. Don't let tax problems ruin your life. Let Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox handle the IRS so you don't have to. Visit taxhelput.com. That's taxhelput.com. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We have 80s as far as the eye can see, but the warmest of the days coming up today at 87. It's 65 degrees in Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen on the KSL News Radio app and in your car at 102.7 FM. KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
It's 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. Good morning. I'm Tim Hughes. Amanda Dixon with the week off. And our top story on the 7 o'clock report, police are still looking for whoever fired shots at a car on I-15 in Layton yesterday. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with the details. Adam?
And police are saying the rider of a black Harley-Davidson motorcycle shot at a car on I-15 near Layton Hills Mall, hitting the driver and sending them to the hospital yesterday. Utah Highway Patrol Sergeant Rick Schrader tells KSL TV these kinds of things are happening all too often.
Everything from hit and runs to, these brandishings. Obviously, these things are becoming more and more common.
Now, police say the gunshot wound thankfully was not life-threatening, but today they are still trying to find the motorcycle and are investigating whether or not road rage played a part in this incident. UHP is asking anyone with information to give them a call. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We're also hearing from the family members of two people killed in a head-on crash in Eagle Mountain. Police say that crash was the result of road rage. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson reports.
Friends and family gather to remember Rodney Salm and Misha Himmelberger and tell KSL5 they were the glue that held everyone together.
It's a huge hole. I don't know how we're going to fill it.
We're not. Frank and Michelle Salm say their brother Rodney had a lust for life and a heart of gold. They say his girlfriend Misha was always eager to jump in for the ride, as both were car enthusiasts. It was on one of those Sunday drives where the couple was hit head-on by a truck on SR 73. Investigators say that driver had just rammed a Nissan, lost control, and crossed the center line. The Psalms hope drivers will calm down so anger won't take any more innocent lives. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
4 shootings in one weekend has convinced the Salt Lake City Police Department to ramp up patrols in certain areas. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston is live with the details of that story. Peter.
Tim, these 4 shootings all occurred near a single parking lot at 60 West Market Street, and one 22-year-old man is now dead. Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown said yesterday that it's essential people come forward.
Let me reiterate that. There are people who know who the shooter is, and they are not coming forward, either because they are scared or because they are intentionally trying to hinder this case.
A shooting on Saturday sent a bullet spray that almost hit officers. Brown says they don't think that he doesn't think there's a connection between the shootings. However, police will be beefing up their presence there with extra officers and patrols. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
A hearing has been set for the Lori Vallow day bail appeal, which she's arguing for a new trial. Daybell's attorney says the jury was confused by the court instructions. The claim stems from a juror who gave national interviews after Daybell was convicted in the deaths of her children, JJ and Tylee, as well as Chad Daybell's first wife, Tammy. Our top national story this hour. Former President Trump's legal team met with Department of Justice officials to talk about the handling of the classified documents investigation.
The DOJ team heard Trump's lawyers, heard their grievances. They were in there for a little bit earlier Monday morning, and that's about it. Doesn't sound like there were any conversations about, we're about to indict your client soon or anything like that. It does feel like an indictment is coming from all the tea leaf reading our team has been doing over the last several weeks. No indictment as of right now. Famous last words.
ABC's John Santucci reporting the GOP primary will continue to expand today, and by the end of the week, there could be 12 Republicans running for president.
Mike Pence is taking on his former boss, filing paperwork to declare his 2024 campaign for president. Another former governor will soon join him in the race. New Jersey's Chris Christie, a former ABC News contributor, is set to make his own announcement today in New Hampshire. Both men joining a crowded field that includes Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
ABC's Lindsay Watts reporting from the nation's capital. Today marks 79 years since the Allies stormed Normandy on D-Day. They're commemorating the event this morning in France.
I got in on the planning of D-Day. I got the Bronze Star.
100-year-old American World War II vet Jake Larson is there remembering the invasion. KSL weather now with Matt Johnson. A warm day with thunder showers possible this afternoon, and up in places like Snowbird, large amounts of snow are just beginning to melt.
About 39% of the record snowpack still to go, so that would equate to about another month of snowpack that will be melting off. So expect the higher elevation watersheds like the Cottonwoods and the Provo River to be running high and fast through most of June.
Oh, by the way, they're still skiing at Snowbird, too, just in case you were wondering. Matt says right now it looks clear on Thursday, Friday, but those clouds and possible thunderstorms return for the weekend. First look traffic on the 7 o'clock report. We go back to the traffic center in Andy.
Well, Tim, we got some slowing coming from Warm Springs Road down to 600 North in Salt Lake City. Just look through the live cams. Don't see anything causing the delay. Maybe there was something there earlier that's moved out of the way. Still have other slow spots right now. SR 201 in Magna and a little bit on northbound 15 in Murray. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time is 7:06. NTSB investigators are working in the woods of Virginia where a Cessna Citation jet crashed on Sunday.
Those investigators will be at the crash site for a few more days before debris is likely airlifted to another location. They have not found a black box, but this type of plane isn't required to have one.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert says the pilot and 3 passengers on board were killed. The officials say it took 90 minutes after air traffic control lost contact with the aircraft before fighter jets were scrambled to intercept it. House Republican leaders pushing to hold the FBI director in contempt for not turning over Biden investigation documents.
The FBI gave the House Oversight Committee a look at an FBI document detailing an informant who claims Joe Biden accepted a bribe during his time as vice president. But House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tells Fox News he wants the FBI director to hand over the document.
If he doesn't come forth and allow everyone to see it, we will move contempt charges against him on Thursday.
President Biden's spokesman said those charges were not credible 3 years ago. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
The wall of a major dam in part of southern Ukraine that Moscow controls collapsed Tuesday after a reported explosion. There's an incredible video that's floating around this morning. Water's now gushing downriver and prompting both sides in the war to order people to evacuate. Ukraine accused Russian forces of blowing up the dam and hydroelectric power station, while the Russian officials blamed Ukrainian military strikes. The prime suspect in the unsolved 2005 disappearance of American teenager Natalie Holloway will be headed to the U.S.
Joran Vandersloot, serving a 28-year sentence in Peru for the murder of a woman there, was moved to a prison in Lima in anticipation of his extradition to the U.S., which it was thought he would not challenge. But Vandersloot's attorney telling ABC News that his client is now refusing to sign documents that would allow him to be extradited and plans to appeal. Unclear how long this will slow down the process of Vandersloot's transfer to the U.S., where he faces extortion charges after telling Natalie Holloway's mother's lawyer in 2010 that he'd reveal the location of her daughter's body for $250,000. Dave Packer, ABC News.
A new fire is burning at Zion National Park in a remote area near Imlay Canyon. That's around 500 acres, they tell us, that has burned so far.
The National Park Service will continue to monitor the fire and will take action as necessary to protect life, property, and park values.
Jonathan Schaefer with the National Park Service says they think this fire was started by lightning, but crews are also taking the opportunity to remind people to only start fires in designated fire rings and never leave hot coals behind. Translators working on translating scriptures into Navajo.
Experts from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints say they're working to translate the Book of Mormon, Bible, Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price, also known as the Standard Works. People working on the project are saying it's giving them an opportunity to find shared ground between Navajo culture and their church beliefs. The Daily Universe reports the team hopes to have the full translation finished by 2024. Then a team of experts will do a full ecclesiastical review of the project. Kate Davis, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 7:09. If you're making your way in this morning, let's check those roads ahead with traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Andy?
Well, northbound traffic is getting worse on Mountain View Corridor, especially in West Valley, trying to get to 3500 South. We've got some I-15 slowdowns at both 53rd and 33rd South, although they're pretty minor and mostly for people in the right lanes, it looks like. SR 201, some slowdowns at 7200 West, but not much after that. And earlier delays, even though there's still a crash on the left shoulder on I-80 right after Lake Point, there's only minor slowdowns in the left lane passing by. Heather?
Well, if you're coming out of Davis County, southbound I-15, we do have some slowdowns for you, but not in the typical area. It's going to be between 2300 North Warm Springs Road all the way into downtown Salt Lake. We haven't seen a crash in the area, no word of debris, but something's slowing you down at the wrong time of day right now. You also still have delays trying to get into Hill Air Force Base at all three gates. The Roy Gate is the worst now if you come over from the railroad tracks heading east toward I-15 and Hill Air Force Base. Eric?
And it looks good in Utah County. Normal travel times to be had. Northbound from Santa Quin to Point of the Mountain. 30-minute drive if you're doing the whole stretch. Starting to bunch up a little bit over on 2100 North and Pioneer Crossing. Trying to get over to the freeway. No major delay so far. It's Mountain View Corridor as you head south and intersect with SR 73. That's probably the slowest portion in that area of Utah County. Premium checking from America First is more than a regular account. In fact, it's so loaded with benefits and features, it was voted best perks by Money.com. Apply for it today at AmericaFirst.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast. Temperatures start out in the low to mid 60s, a mild morning, partly cloudy skies. By the lunch hour, clouds thicken up. We keep it in the mid 80s for that hour. Into the afternoon, hey, chance for some thunder showers as we work into the 3 and 7 o'clock hour. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Matt said a mild morning, and it is that downtown, 65 degrees. Lots of sunshine this hour. I think yesterday we were reporting as Prince Harry was set to testify today in London in a case against the Daily Mirror that it would be the first time since the 1800s that a member of the royal family had actually been cross-examined. That's taking place right now as we speak, and we'll go into detail with ABC's James Longman coming up in just a minute. First, a look at sports. Two University of Utah former football stars have been named to the 2024 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. KSL Sports reports that Alex Smith and Eric Weddle have been named to the ballot nearly 20 years after leading Utah to their first undefeated season in 2004. Smith went on to play in the NFL for San Francisco, Kansas City, and Washington. Weddle, of course, played for San Diego and Baltimore before winning a Super Bowl with the LA Rams after coming out of retirement. Several iconic TV sets hit the auction block in Dallas.
Heritage Auction says the bar featured on the TV show Cheers sold for $675,000, while the set from The Tonight Show featuring Johnny Carson went for $275,000. They were part of a collection amassed by a former comedy writer who gave up his dream of creating a museum to house them. The Batman and Robin costumes worn by Adam West and Burt Ward in the 1960s TV series Batman sold for $615,000. The living and dining rooms and stairwell from All in the Family sold for $125,000. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
So the Batman and Robin outfit actually make more money than the entire set of All in the Family. That's kind of funny. There's talk in Hollywood about actor Johnny Depp entertaining the idea of returning to the big screen as Captain Jack Sparrow.
Who am I? Captain Jack Sparrow.
Johnny Depp became a box office sensation in Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl in 2003. Since then, Disney has made 4 sequels, generating more than $4.5 billion at the worldwide box office. With most top-grossing movies being sequels, remakes, or reboots, Disney is eager to continue unfurling this franchise's sail. During the very public feud between Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard, the studio was developing a female-centric Pirates of the Caribbean movie with Margot Robbie, which was shelved a year ago. Another film with a younger cast is also in the works. Depp just might return to play Captain Jack Sparrow in this one. Disney Studio Motion Picture Production President Sean Bailey told the New York Times they have a story for another film, though Depp was, quote, non-committal at this point. In Hollywood, anything is possible, and rumors of Jack Sparrow's death might be greatly exaggerated. I'm Kevin Carr.
Trending this hour on the 7 o'clock report.
Welcome to Chili's.
Yeah, 3 lucky couples got a major perk after getting engaged at Chili's. The casual dining restaurant offered the first 3 couples who got engaged following a TikTok contest free catering. The lucky or total value of the food cannot be more than $2,500. That's a nice high price, however. Spider-Man does whatever. A world record set in Malaysia this weekend after 685 people dressed up as Spider-Man to celebrate the release of Across the Spider-Verse. That's a Guinness Book of World Records, counted the Spider-Man wannabes and confirmed they beat out the previous world record of 601. Now, you tell me, is it Spider-Mans or Spider-Men? It says Spider-Mans here at an event in India that was set back in 2021. How about that? KSL News Time this morning is 7:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
we are hearing from the family of 2 innocent victims of a deadly crash involving what UHP troopers are calling road rage. I'm KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson.
Second, we are also learning more about a possible road rage interaction in Layton, where police say a passenger on a motorcycle took shots at a car. And third, traffic and weather together.
Slowdowns continue on South 15 in Salt Lake City, coming from Warm Springs Road down to 600 North. We've got some northbound delay creeping in around the 106 South on-ramp right now. And cleanup of a crash keeps traffic on I-80 a little bit slow from Lake Point up to about a half mile past the on-ramp. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Scatter storms possible again today with a high of 87. I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny and 65 degrees in Salt Lake City with KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Another potential humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. It's happening in the eastern part of the country, and hundreds of thousands have had to be evacuated because of it. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge on the ground with more.
Vast quantities of water gushing over this major dam after Ukraine says Russian forces who control the surrounding area caused an explosion, possibly to disrupt a Ukrainian offensive. Russian officials initially denying the explosion, then blaming Ukraine.
That dam supplies drinking water to Crimea and works as a cooling system to the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, Europe's largest. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is planning to jump into the presidential race later today, and former Vice President Mike Pence plans to do the same tomorrow. ABC's Rachel Scott's in New Hampshire.
By the end of this week, there will be 12 Republican candidates in this race. One person who is not running, New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu. He's saying that such a crowded field could only make Trump stronger, telling candidates who do not stand a chance to have the discipline to get out of the race now.
California and Texas are looking into charges against one of those Republican presidential candidates, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, for allegedly paying to fly migrants from the border to those states with the promise of jobs and housing that weren't there. California Attorney General Rob Banta.
That's morally bankrupt. It's cruel. It's inhumane. It's wrong. These are individuals who have come long journeys fleeing violence and oppression and seeking safety. They're asylum seekers. And that's how they were treated. They were deceived and lied to instead of supported with compassion.
Prince Harry testifying in court today against a tabloid publisher he accuses of phone hacking and unlawful techniques to get scoops about him. This is the 79th anniversary of D-Day. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin among those commemorating it in Normandy, France this morning. You're listening to ABC News.
And as you just heard, Prince Harry is testifying this morning in London. He's accusing the Daily Mirror of unlawful information gathering, including hacking his and other celebrities' phones. We get the details from ABC's James Longman.
The prince says tabloid newspapers hacked his phone and sent private investigators after him. They contest those allegations and say that Harry has no proof. This is the first time in 130 years that a senior royal has faced these sorts of questions. They have pushed him on his claims about suffering from these articles. They say he's been forced to admit that he doesn't remember reading them, and they say, well, how can you be suing for damages if you don't remember reading these articles in the first place? He pushed back, saying as a child, every article played a destructive role in his growing up. He's also explained how they provoked feelings of paranoia in him. He says, when private information that I've shared with one or two people ends up on the front page of a newspaper, your circle of friends diminishes. Harry is one of 100 people who claim that the Mirror newspaper group used unlawful tactics to gather information for articles between 1996 and 2011. The newspaper has previously admitted hacking, and they've paid out huge sums for it, but they say they didn't do this in Harry's case.
Well, it'll be interesting to follow up on that and see what the results are of that trial, but something ABC is eyeballing today with the help of James Longman. On the In-Depth at 15 and 45. 7:19, it's traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the Nines. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. Still a good move out there, Andy?
For the most part, northbound drivers shouldn't see any real big delays between Draper and downtown. It gets a bit thick around 106th and at 5300 South. Coming out of Tooele County, a crash started delays, then they cleared, and now they're still cleaning up the crash, and the delays are back. This is from the Lake Point on-ramp to the curve just before you get to SR 201. So you'll see some delay on I-80 trying to get into the Salt Lake Valley. And then SR 201's got some wait time around 7200 West. Heather?
We did have some delays southbound I-15 in the Kaysville area about 20 minutes ago or so. That quickly eased up, but you are stop and go now from Warm Springs Road, actually just after Beck Street, all the way into downtown Salt Lake. We still have not had any word of an accident in that area. Haven't seen construction barrels out, but something is slowing you down at this time trying to get into downtown. You also still have some delays trying to get into Hill Air Force Base at all three of the gates. The worst is the South Gate and 5600 South in Roy. Eric.
Pioneer Crossing getting a little bit busy both at the Redwood Road intersection and at Saratoga Road if you're heading from Saratoga Springs eastbound over to I-15. If you're on I-15 Utah County, that's looking great. Northbound from Provo to Point of the Mountain, typical 20-minute drive. Electrical problems? Want to light up your world? Call the electricians with the online guarantee. Call Mr. Sparky at 8888-SPARKY. That's 8888-SPARKY. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts out warm. 87 degrees today with a chance for scattered storms. We bubble up showers and storms again for your Wednesday, high of 83. Partly cloudy Thursday, 82. We keep it dry with a chance for storms in the mountains, though, Friday, 82. 81 mostly cloudy on Saturday. Chance for storms return on Sunday and Monday. Highs in the low 80s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
I'm going to guess it won't be long before these temperatures take a big jump. 65 now in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Deb back this morning at 9 o'clock, but Dave's here now. You talking about a tax increase of how much?
32% property tax in Sandy. That is the proposal by Mayor Monica Zoltansky. Monica Z, as she's known, she's kind of famous for her wearing that red cowboy hat. But yeah, they want to increase police, fire, city workers' pay. They say they're just losing everybody in the city. Everybody's getting trained in Sandy, and then they're finding better compensation elsewhere. So they're looking for a 32% increase on property tax. We're going to hear from Monica Zoltansky and figure out, holy cow, is there any chance that this gets approved?
What is the average? I mean, maybe you don't have this at your fingertips, but the average property tax now is
32% less than it's going to be.
That's a great answer, Dave. Thank you. No, I was just thinking if I could put that into dollar terms for people. But
they think it's going to be about $9 more a month.
Oh.
So an additional $9, so $108 a year. There we go.
That's a great answer, though. David Dujanovic coming up is one of the reasons I love to listen. 9 to noon, Monday through Thursday on KSL News Radio, where the news time is 7:22.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. R Plus Energies is a renewable energy development company based in Salt Lake City and has been instrumental in opening Utah's market for utility-scale solar development. President Luigi Resta shares more on how they are helping meet the demands of the modern energy transition.
Founded 4.5 years ago, R Plus Energies develops utility-scale solar, wind, and solar plus battery projects, and through a partnership known as R Plus Hydro, develops long-duration energy storage using pump storage hydro. In Utah alone, we have 8 large-scale projects under development, construction, or now in operation. Working closely with local stakeholders and landowners and county officials, R Plus developed Graphite Solar, which is operating in Carbon County, and are currently under construction on Appaloosa Solar in Iron County. These Utah-based projects denote more than a $2 billion investment in our economy and continue Utah's energy legacy. R Plus values partnering with electrical utilities and corporate customers as we strive to support them in achieving their energy goals by accessing the best mix of renewable resources and energy storage to enable a resilient, reliable, and affordable power supply.
R Plus Energies develops large-scale modern power plants to contribute to the rebuilding of America's energy infrastructure. Prior to the formation of R Plus, its executives were instrumental in developing Utah's first utility-scale solar plant in 2015. For more information, visit the R Plus Energies website. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
If you're getting new gutters, make absolutely sure that you don't get screwed. I mean literally, don't get screwed. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And every single gutter company out there uses screws to hold their gutters together at the corners and downspouts. They use screws because they're fast and cheap and easy, but man, they're terrible for your gutters, aside from possibly cutting your hand. They also loosen and corrode over time because they're not made from the same metal as the gutters. At RGS Exteriors, we've been installing gutters for 70 years now, and we don't use screws. We only use permanent, strong, and unobtrusive rivets. They're made from the same material as the gutters, so they won't oxidize and they won't corrode. They'll also never loosen. Your hand is safe too. Did I mention they look amazing? So don't get screwed. Call RGS and get riveted gutters. Our number is 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsutah.com.
Let's take a look at Utah's money here, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Experts say that people are encouraged to give out 5-star ratings on apps like Uber and Lyft, which is making the ratings less meaningful. Some riders are speaking out, saying that Uber drivers don't have to earn a good rating anymore. They can make it harder to tell which driver may be providing a round of service. Microsoft paying $20 million to the Federal Trade Commission. The agency claims the company illegally collected and retained data of children who used Xbox consoles without notifying parents or obtaining consent. Xbox vice president saying the company will improve their age verification systems to ensure parents are involved in the creation of accounts in the future. And the CEO of Farmers Group telling employees they're required now to work in the office multiple days after employees changed their lives to work from home. You have to realize he had told them that this was going to be a permanent thing. Now he's changed his mind and is calling them back in. Some of these workers sold their cars, moved their families, even expanded their home offices. More than 22,000 employees will be affected by the requirement. The CEO, Raul Vargas, claiming it will promote collaboration, creativity, and innovation. Markets have very narrow trading this morning, and it continues to be that way just ahead of the opening bell, now about 3.5 minutes away. The futures of the Dow still down just 13 points, a fraction. The S&P is off less than a point, and the NASDAQ is down this hour by less than 9 points. Southbound delays continue on I-15 from Warm Springs Road to downtown Salt Lake City. The team stands by with a look at your drive with traffic and weather together. My daughter came over the other night, and you've heard me talk about Amber. She lost 42 pounds on the SOTA weight loss program and is now in the maintenance phase, which varies for different people. I think Amanda checks in with SOTA these days once a month. My daughter gets a call from her nutritionist every other week, so twice a month. But the maintenance phase of the program, once you reach your target weight, is absolutely free, no extra charge if you want to join up with Soda, and it's such a great weight loss program. And here's the thing. Every time I drive them Amber crazy, I know, because when we're having them over for a barbecue or something, I'll say, is that on the Soda plan? You sure they're going to be okay with that? Is your nutritionist going to scold you on that? They know that once you get to your goal weight, you're going to go back and have some of the things you love to eat, but they teach you how to get right back on track. If you gain 3 or 4 pounds, you'll know how to get yourself right back down to the goal weight and keep that weight off. How many times have you been able to say that if you've been involved in a weight loss program? The average male, 3 to 5 pounds a week. The average female, 2 to 3 pounds a week. Find out more about this program by finding them online at sodaweightloss.com. It's spelled S-O-T-A. Think Tim and Amanda. Soda Weight Loss is state-of-the-art.
Right on cue for summer. OPEC plans to cut oil production. Gas prices are headed up.
It could drive up prices for other goods.
Whether you're planning a staycation or a day trip, start your summer here. Get updates on traffic out of town, gas prices, and everything you need to know. Listen each day this summer, mornings and afternoons, to KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 7:29. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union, helping members since 1935. How we doing, Andy?
Well, I-15 delays increasing now through Murray, especially getting to 53rd South. I-80 slow from the Lake Point on-ramp all the way to the curve just before you get to SR 201. Mountain View's backed up at 3500 South. Bangor not as bad as a typical day, but you will wait a bit at the 9800 South intersection in South Jordan. Heather?
We do have a KSL traffic trooper letting us know that there is a cable on the middle of the lane southbound I-15 right near 600 North. It had been blocking all 3 lanes of travel. And then incident management stopped traffic for a few minutes to remove that cable out of the lanes of traffic. That's why you have the delays coming from Beck Street all the way into downtown Salt Lake. The rest of the drive in Weber and Davis counties are in pretty good shape right now. Eric?
Along the 215 eastbound, things are rolling along from Cottonwood Heights through Holiday up to at the mouth of Parley's Canyon. If you're on Foothill Drive, just a modest amount of slowing right now at some of the intersections going up towards the University of Utah. I-15 Utah County, that's looking just fine. We did have some earlier slowdowns in Lehigh, but right now everything is back up to normal speed. That was on the southbound side earlier. Right now, both directions are in good shape. Zero Res has partnered with Unload, Utah's premier valet laundry and dry cleaning service. Schedule your carpet or air duct cleaning with Zero Res, and they'll add in a free service from Unload. Call for details, 801-288-9376. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
87 degrees eventually this afternoon, but along with that comes a 70% chance of showers this afternoon. It's a nice morning to start, though. Provo, the warmest spot along the Wasatch, 69 there. Ogden, 64. And here in Salt Lake City, 65 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 7:30. Our top story this hour. There's a strong likelihood Utah lawmakers will call a special session in light of Representative Chris Stewart's plans to step down from Congress. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with the details. Adam?
Tim, Utah Republican Chair Robert Axson says he believes that there will end up being a special session.
The state legislature should, and I have had conversations with them, and leadership has indicated that they will be going into special session to make some adjustments to that law.